Well, not recording.
So now we are all alive here. Hello, Jeff. Nice to have you here on the screen on
Absolutely.
LD3. Yeah, Jeff is back, and this time it's not for Beastman, it's for Lizardman. And there are two reasons for that.
Well, not recording.
So now we are all alive here. Hello, Jeff. Nice to have you here on the screen. 1 second. I have an issue. LD3. Yeah, Jeff. So, okay, sorry. Yeah, two reasons. First one, big reason, the Lizardmen draft by Renegades just dropped. And the second reason why you're here is that you are testing right now the Lizardmen in German comp, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I've run 5 games with them now against a bunch of different lists. They've been fun to play. I haven't played Lizardmen before this, but they're an interesting army for sure.
Yeah. We changed a few things in German comp that we will also see, I guess, in the maybe in a similar or a slightly changed way in the Renegades pack. Focus today is of course on the Renegades pack, and we also, based on our test games and all the test procedure, we wanted to suggest a big document we wrote together with Shane Oz. And we had the issue there that there were some technical issues and some time-wise issues. So, well, I had no chance to see it. I discussed a few things with him, and I think, and that is a good sign, that both, well, we and also a lot of people from the community came to very similar or to very the same results and ideas. So I do think that the core problems and the core issues of the Lizardmen are more or less known.
Yeah, I agree. You just have some basic structural issues with kind of lack of synergy in an army that really wants to be about synergy. If you're not running big flying monsters and dragons and powerful solo models, you can have Carnosaurs and things like that, but they are a more infantry focused, synergy focused list, compared to other factions, and they don't really synergize the way you'd want them to, and it just makes them feel clunky to play. So I think that's really the issue to solve, is how to make them feel more unified in their playstyle and give them more options for list building.
Exactly. I think that historically a lot of people love the synergy focus on the Lizardmen. I heard that sometimes it was a bit over, like with the magic, light magic, and stuff like that. But I still think that they have a lot of aura effects. They have a lot of buffs. So this is how you could play them. And if you look at the basic profile of Saurus Warrior, he has brute strength, but he lacks anything that enables him. And this is basically the core problem of the Lizardman, be it for the infantry, be it for the Carnosaurs or anything. They need stuff that enables them, and they need to work together in synergies. So the idea I had, or we had in the very beginning, was we need to find as many synergies as possible, right?
Yeah, so we can test out some different options, see what works, see what's a bit too strong. And in playtesting, that's been one of the really fun parts of the list. I was running a big temple guard block with some skinks playing around it and some artillery beasts playing around them, and kind of having that strong central castle and being able to move the skirmishers around it. It really felt like a fun army where the land's kind of directing things to go. You're casting spells through your skinks. You're getting buffs from your ancient Segadon or your Bastiladons. It really was fun having all the pieces move together and kind of figuring out the puzzle of how to play that. And I think it was interesting to interact with as well, because if you destroy some element of the army, it makes the rest of the army weaker too. So it felt like it had inherent counterplay, which I really enjoyed as well.
Yeah, I will face that army myself with my Derby list, so I'm looking forward to that. And I agree with you. That's also the thing I love the most with the Lizardmen. They work like a machine together, and the engine starts to stutter as soon as you take certain points out, which can be fair if they are priced reasonably, if they are strong enough, both from the base profiles and from the special rules, I think. So that has to happen, of course. And yeah, we will check the list. The other option is, of course, we both love this synergy style, a bit of magic, a bit of shooting. We are both Beastman players still, um, but you can also just play a whole bunch of big fucking dinosaurs, right?
Yeah, they have a pretty good monster package and a lot more utility out of their monsters, whereas Beastman monsters have, like, it could be utility if you kind of squint at it sideways, but really its utility doesn't actually do anything. It's like you want it to be utility. It smells like utility. Then you try to play it, and I forgot about how many games I played with Dragon Ogre Shagoth like in 2024, and the one game in 5 that I got a chance to cast Stormcall, I forgot about it because I never use it. That sort of thing.
That's a better point about Lizardmen monsters, and I know how much you want to change Beastmen monsters, but let's not derail into that. The good thing at the Lizardmen monsters is right now they have each one purpose, and the purpose is very very clearly outlined. So it's a very simple list, but it has also some synergies. Okay, what we will do is we go through the army list. Through the Renegades list, and I think we can start immediately at Lizardmen Grand Army composition list.
Yeah. This isn't too different. 0-1 Slan Mage Priest or 0-1 Old Blood for 1,000 points. I think that's what they did in the original Renegades. Is that correct?
Renegades before had 0-1 Slan per 1,500, and I think that the Legacy book just stayed 0-1 Slan. Okay. And the standard Legacy book has 0-1 Old Blood or Skink Priest per 1,000. So technically, the Skink Priest non-com should be blue here, but it's a bit of whatever. And yeah, that's the main reason why you don't see the Old Blood at all, except if you go for the Carnosaur spam in the Magic Heavy list in the Legacy. And I think this is a good thing to clarify here immediately. A lot of people will think that, oh my god, you can play two slants on 2K, but there is still the Games Workshop match play.
In theory, sure, but
yeah. There is still Games Workshop match play, which allows only one level 4 caster, and you cannot take portions away from the slan. You cannot make him down to a level 3, which would be a very interesting choice, while being not very thematic, to be honest. And I think it's more a comp for the Old Blood here and less for the slan, to be honest.
Although I do think you would be hard pressed to fit 3 of these. I mean, 2 slan is, even ignoring GW restrictions, 2 slan and 2,000 points is still a lot. They're so expensive per model, and you don't necessarily get the same value out of the second one that you do the first one. You can't overlap disciplines.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that more when we talk about the slan and the magic like that. But I think this is fine. I like this. I think that in theory it feels odd to be able to run 2 slan, but in practice I don't really think it matters.
Yeah. It's a little bit of an oddball thing, and I don't necessarily think that it will be that big. That is correct. Okay, so let's move on then. The heroes are just the normal choices. In core, we lose the 1+ unit of Star Wars Warriors. That's also pretty normal. 0-1 unit of Temple Guard. If you turn also Slan Mage Priest, this all makes sense. And then we see, of course, here in purple, the Skink Cohort. We will check the Skink Cohort as well. Special has deleted all the restrictions. Once again, in this can be a disadvantage if you play the Games Workshop comp pack and you align on if you have a comp in the army list, then you're not restricted by Games Workshop. So theoretically, with this 0-2 Bastillodons per 1,000, you could bring 4 Bastillodons on 2K. But yeah. Same is true in Rare, basically. If you would change some stuff there, you would have maybe the option to triple some choice. We do see here Razordon packs and Droglodons, Salamander packs and Razordon packs separated still. This means you can bring 4 packs of them. You can bring 2 packs of Droglodon and 2 packs Stegodon if you play with Games Workshop. Yeah, the rest are allies. We have the High Elf Realms in the allies department, and the Battle Standard Bearer, we can have the Chief, the Slan, or the Saurus.
That's all pretty standard.
Yeah. Let's move on then to the Lizardmen special rules. And we talked already on the Slan, and here we see the first buff for the Slan. It's a quite big one. I wouldn't say big, but it's still significant. You have Arcane Vessel now allowing self spells. That's the first thing you have there. But at the same time, it still forbids the model to be in combat. So you cannot cast a Settlement spell still. which you could theoretically also only cast if the Slan is in combat, because that allows you to cast a Assailment spell per se, but you cannot do these shenanigans there. You could do some weird challenge jumps, priests, where the Slan then casts an Assailment into their challenge or something like that, maybe.
Sure, but only if the Slan is also in combat, right? Otherwise, it wouldn't have a chance.
Yes, exactly. And the Slan has a horrible initiative, so... And
Right.
we will also see the rules for the Slan, how he can cast in combat or not. This is also a very, very difficult thing. Yeah, but the bigger point here is, so you can do the Oaken Shield into another unit, you can do the Glittering Rope into another unit, stuff like that is pretty big. I always wanted to do that, I love that, and you can have now a Slan basically separate from a unit, casting buffs into that unit. That is great if you want to play multiple infantry bricks.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the downsides is that there aren't, or maybe not downside, but limiting factors is that Skinks can go in Saurus units, but they don't always synergize super well with them because they stick off to the side.
Yeah.
And their Skinks are moving 6, Saurus are moving 4. So
it has some negative synergies, yeah. It has some negative synergies, yeah.
But yeah, I think the other big thing about this is it's 24 inches. Because it's normally 12 inches. That's what we've been playing with in the comp version. And I've caught myself on that a few times where I go to cast something and realize, I'm 15 inches away or whatever. 24 inches means you can do this wherever you want. It's so rare you'd have a Skink Priest more than 24 inches away from the Slan. So this really does change it. It's also notable that you can do things like march the Skink Priest and then cast a Magic Missile with the Slan. So it really gives you a lot of distance on your targeting. At the 24 inches, that's what I think a lot more viable. So it feels a little further than it needs to be to me, but I haven't played this with this. It'd be interesting to see how it looked.
Let's keep this in mind when we check the mount options for the Skink Priest. Another thing, as you said, with the 24 or with the 12, let's stick back to the 12 inch, you still had to play like this machine, yeah? Each part supporting each other, you had to take care of ranges. It played a little bit like Vampires. Vampires also do the thing where you have to keep every unit within 12 inch of the caster and there and here and that. So this is gone now. This makes the army overall, if you take a Slan, way more mobile. And that is a good thing because they really weren't mobile. So
no, they really do struggle in that area. So yeah, just having more flexibility in spellcasting. I don't hate it. If you're playing a lot of points for the Slan, it's really hard to default to having a little more utility like that.
Yeah, I think it's okay. Then we have a fix to Aquatic. So Aquatic finally does something, right? Because if you're in water, you have partial cover. I think that's...
Also, priests just open ground. It used to be they just weren't slowed by it, but they still took dangerous terrain, so your Skinks could drown in a puddle of water, even though they breathe water, in the original rules, which is very silly.
This also means you don't take the lower dice when charging, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a pretty significant difference.
There is only one very sad synergy. The Monsoon is changed now to be an aquatic feature, but it still blocks line of sight. So if you're in the Monsoon, models will be fully obscured, so this does not trigger. If you're in the Monsoon, you are you don't see through it, so it's a bit difficult. But yeah, it's a rule aquatic. You can take bits of it and add it to different situations, but something of the rule will always be helpful. And I think it's a very thematic change. It's a small change, it's a feel-good change, but I love it.
Yeah, I agree. And then next we've got Beast Handlers, which is the replacement for whatever that used to be. We've had several
Beast Handlers. It's called Beast Handlers as well.
The Handler rules that were for the Razor Dawn and the Salamander packs and how to fix them and things like that. So this is just using the basic Beast Handler rules from I think from the book. Is this in the core rule book, or is this unique to Legacy?
It is in the Legacy book. It's also called the Beast Handlers, and he took portions here from the Monster Handlers. How they're in the core book.
Yeah. Which ironically only applies to Legacy models. So.
Yeah, Hydra and stuff like that had it. Basically, the idea of the Monster Hunter rule is that you have crew like in War Machines, which does not have their own profile, which is decoration, and which will just serve the purpose of giving a few attacks and soaking up a few wounds. Normally they only work in combat, the Monster Handlers. And for this unit here, the Skinks in the Legacy book were like a fully fledged model. And this brought a ton of shenanigans, cheese, and problems. I played against Peter Kroka. He played High Elves. I played the War Beast. I played a unit of 2. And it was super weird because you could remove casualties, then you're suddenly under unit strength 4 because the War Beasts only have unit strength 1, the big salamander guys. And because they have some unit strength 1, you then had suddenly cover from skirmisher -1, and you put one skink behind another model, you get cover. It was very, very complicated. And then it started to rank up into combat. It became even more complicated. So I think it's a very good thing to try to go easy with these rules.
Yeah, I agree. It saves a lot of trouble. It saves weird AoE. The other thing it saves is ranking up in combat without this rule is just don't try. It's awful.
Yeah.
I think that's a great change.
The only thing is that this is just not stated in this rule, how it's written right now. It says in combat, each handler adds its attacks to those of the War Beast, and if there are multiple War Beasts in combat, the additional attacks from the handlers are distributed as evenly as possible among the War Beasts. So it's a unit, they are not personalized basically, they're not dedicated. But the issue is, what is missing here is that the skinks are just fully ignored as in crew for the purposes of measuring and line of sight and things like that, and should
sure.
We have it here. If the handlers are found to be blocking movement or line of sight, simply move them aside. But that's not saying that you don't rank them up in the first fighting rank when you charge,
or that you don't consider them for who gets cover, things like that.
Yeah, exactly, because they are not blocking line of sight. Then the line of sight to them is blocked, and these are the things that have to be clarified here. I think we all get a good grasp on what Val wants to do here, but the wording has to be improved a little bit. But
tidying it up to making sure it works the way he wants it to work.
Yeah. Okay, predatory fighters. That is a special rule that was in earlier versions of the game, and it's back. It makes your dices explode. I have to say, this is the reason why I left 40k. Exploding 6s. But in this case, any natural roll of a 6 made when rolling to hit in combat generates an additional attack.
This is the first time I read it too. It's to hit and to wound.
Hit and to wound? No. It only says when rolling to hit.
Rolling to hit and wound, it's okay.
You just roll as normal, yes. And
they can't generate additional attacks from additional attacks.
So you have one round of extra attacks. You can get hatred. We will see this later. So with hatred, that can be pretty bursty.
Well, it would be, you wouldn't, it would generate another reroll. So yeah, I guess. But what gives you hatred on the, I guess...
Toad rage.
So you can't take Dark Magic on a slant normally, right? So,
no, I think you cannot in this version of the book,
Yeah. So. Yeah, limited in that sense. I'm sure there's something else that you reroll on, or something like that. Some magic item, but this is interesting because this was just added on to Saurus, right?
Yeah, it's not only added on to Saurus, it's added on to quite a lot of units or models. We will see this later. Also, some mounts have it, and the Carnosaur has it. The big issue is, to me, you could just give Saurus warriors 3 attacks flat, and it would still not solve their problems.
Yeah, and then this, I think we'll see with the hero, this replaces Furious Charge, so you lose some, you gain some, if you're charging at least with them, which you're not always, but...
Yeah, it makes them better in grindy combats.
Mm-hmm.
It does not make them better that much in the first round of combat when they receive the charge, only when they do the charge. So it makes certain unit types like the Rhipodactyls or the Carnosaur better, while it makes the normal infantry a little bit better, but it's not like the big effect you maybe think of it.
It does work better with multiple ranks because an extra attack isn't giving you extra attack in the back ranks and things like that. So that's something to consider. It's just kind of always there, always useful.
True. Okay, Cold-Blooded, we have that already. Drop Rocks is changed to AP1. We also suggested that. I'm happy to see that. AP1 is big, especially with Strength 4. The Gyrocopters only have Strength 3. So basically this is a very strong ability, especially since these models here cost a half of a Gyrocopter. and I found that ability to be very, very good to reduce opponents from scoring or such. And if you have 5 pterodons, they do 10 hit, strength 4, AP1. That unit
Yeah.
of skirmishers is gone.
Yeah, automatic D3 with no chance to fail like a gyrocopter has is pretty powerful.
It is powerful, but I have to say the last time I played pterodons was in Total War, and I played against the Doom stack of Dark Elves, and I had 10 bricks of pterodons, and I did exactly that. I baited them all to my lord, dropped the rocks, and the game was over. That was pretty fun, yeah.
God bless tic-tac-toe.
Okay, Obsidian Blades. No changes to Obsidian Blades.
Yep.
And I hear a lot of guys advocating for applying Obsidian Blades to spears. Thrusting spears.
I think it would be an interesting change, if just for a flavor perspective, because Obsidian Spears is more of a thing than the Obsidian Clubs that like Zars have, in real life at least. I don't know about the balance element of it. Mostly, my thought is that Saurus never fight with their spears, especially with the parry rules. Like there isn't a reason to use spears almost ever. So there's something to be said for having a reason to do that, but I don't know about the balance on it. So I mean, I'm fine with saying it.
Yeah, I think it would open up the spears a little bit, but to be honest, the spears also cost points, and who pays points for spears when you can have parry?
I wasn't sure if they removed the cost or not.
I don't think so, but we will see. Alrighty. In German comp, however, spears are quite powerful. They let you be disordered, so the opponent is disordered when he charges you. You get +1 strength, and having like 20 attacks, strength, 5 AP1 would be pretty big, would be pretty scary. But it's still on an infantry big with initiative like 1 or 2. So I don't necessarily think that this would be very overpowered. It would be a little bit scary, but I think this is like the type of infantry that needs so much buffs, like this medium-sized, expensive infantry thingy. But yeah, I think it's even for the basic rules, it's easy fix. And then Skink Riders, and I flamed well for Skink Riders first because I'm stupid and cannot read. So maybe you want to go through that rule.
Attacks made against this unit are resolved against weapon skill of the rider, the crew of the monster, whichever is higher, which is just, Skinks the lowest weapon skill thing on an X profile, always, weapon skill 2. Even the chieftains aren't very high weapon skill, I think they go up to a 4. So it's just, with some of the Howder rules, it doesn't matter anyway, but it clarifies that a little bit. It means Ripperdactyls don't get hit in a 3+ or a 2+ all the time. Simple change, I like it.
Yeah. I think for the Droplodon, we discussed this in our games. The split profile already solved that, but for the Howder, it's very important to have that. And at first, I just read that it is always resolved against the Skink, the rider, and it was like, oh no, don't do that. Why this nerve to the Droplodons? But yeah, it makes total sense that the dinosaur takes control sometimes. I love that.
Yeah.
Makes actually Stegodons better. Stegodons a lot better.
Oh, well, Stegodon, they have the Howder rule, so they already had. I guess if you were a character writing Stegodon, it changes it. But for regular Stegodons, the Howder rule says you roll against the beast.
Are you sure? I thought it is exactly different. That you roll not against the highest profile, but instant against everyone checking the rulebook now. Howder. It follows both the split profile chariots. So
okay, no, you're right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know where I'm thinking of that from. I mean, I guess how do I play against Stegodons? So
that was a big problem, and you always attack the Stegodons on the weapon skill 2 of the riders.
Yeah.
That was harsh, but I love that we have it now like this, and yeah, it makes Stegodons good. It makes Droplodons better, which also have a better weapon skill than the Skink has, the Skink Oracle has. So that is pretty solid. Also opens up space for the cavalry, but I mean they also would be hit against the rider. Yeah, cavalry also is hit against the rider, so it's also important if you bring sometime the cavalry in, the Skink cavalry, and we know that Val already teased us with some Monstrum Arcanum Renegadium thingy. Yeah. It's a note somewhere in the to-do list of his drafts, and I think this opens up also for the feral Canosaur, the feral cold ones.
Yeah, that would be fun. Fun to see that.
That could be that it does it like in Army of Infamy there. Magic items, and yeah, the magic weapons are made yellow because we don't see any changes here, which is pretty sad.
Yeah, I think all of these are very underwhelming. Forever Blade of Zunki, it's fine. It's 65 points. It only gives you +1 strength and magical attacks. No armor and ward is powerful, but I think regen would be reasonable to take off. Scimitar of the Splendent is an item we see many times. It's just very mediocre. Staff of Lost Sun has the problem where you can't march and fire, or it doesn't have quick fire. And Piranha Blade is a Beastman weapon that costs 10 points more for no reason, and doesn't really see play in the Beastman book either. What is the 25-point multi-wounds weapon called? Anyway.
Yeah. Well, you have to say that the Saurus has per se a better profile than the Goat has.
True, but
yeah.
Even so,
but you still take for defense on the characters.
Get 80-1.
Yeah. So let's check what we did there. So we wrote a big fucking thing here with a ton of special rules. Some are similar, some were different. We added blessed spawnings, which we do not see in this draft. And for the weapons, we thought of no regen for the Tsunki Blade, making the Scimitar cheaper, quick shot for the staff, and the Piranha Blade at least armor band 2 here.
Yeah, I think those are reasonable changes. I had played with these to really test them, but the items were very unexciting to start with, so I think a solid buff to them all is pretty reasonable as a basic. Start from there.
Another option would be, and this is a thing I always recommend for the Lizardmen, as we already stated at the very beginning, a lot of the list is overcosted. The point costs are super high for a lot of things, so I would heavily suggest to maybe, if you do not want to make big changes here, drop the points by quite a lot. Especially for the Staff of the Lost Sun, which goes most likely on a Skink Priest, maybe a Skink Chief.
Right, you play a Chief because they have to have higher ballistic skill, right?
Yeah, so it should be around, I don't know, what do you want there? 20 points is maybe too much?
20 points they are. They're only ballistic skill. The Chiefs are ballistic skill 5, so
they are good, yeah.
They're not very excited out. You're paying 45 points for the Skink Chief. Are you buying, and then what else? Are you buying like a Stegodon so you can move around, or not a Stegodon? You're probably not buying it on like a Steg. You're probably putting it on a.
This is for fly mount, yeah.
So how many points are you investing into what is ultimately, what is it, 3 shots of strength 4v1?
The staff goes on a flying pterodon or on a Ripidactyl.
So, right now, as it is, so you're going to be moving. Most of the time, you're going to have moving, long-range, multiple shots. So now you're hitting on 5s, at which point you're paying 40 points for an item that hits on 5s. With 3 shots...
For one hit, strength 4, yeah.
Your toughness 3 model, so...
Ruby Ring most of the time pays 35 points for an average of 3.5 strength 4 hits per turn.
You don't have to put that on a skink. You can just take that on whatever, a Slan or whatever random character you want to stick it on. It's so much easier to add. So this is a big opportunity cost for very mediocre effect. I think if you said that this was like quick fire or added in like kind of like a Thay thing where it doesn't take multiple shots or long range or move and shoot penalty, something like that, then I think you could hit on a 2+ base. It still wouldn't be amazing. It's 40 points.
So we added quick shot, and we added an AP on the combat. If you have the AP on the combat, then it actually is a sort of might plus. Sort of might is okay for 20.
That's fun.
Then you can take it without all the changes. I would just reduce it to 20 points. You get some utility on a skink, as you said.
Yeah, makes sense.
Magic armor. The Shield of the Mirror Pool is now basically the one item I lost because against the orcs here, the whatnots or how it's called. On a 4-up, you return it to the caster. It's a shield, it's not an arcane item, so you put it on a character who will spend a lot of time, hopefully, in combat, or who is in a unit, and he gives the buff to the unit. But overall, I think for 40 points for shield, again, we have the opportunity cost. I think the strength 5 hit could have stayed.
Yeah, this one feels, I don't know. The strength 5 hit was very strong, but it's also only magic missiles. It's not like it's assailment. It's not. This isn't like Glowy Green Amulet where it hits everything.
Yeah.
Obviously, dealing damage back to your opponent is better than just negating their spell, but it's so much more narrow. The important difference is that this effect, I think it used to only affect the, oh no, was it the bear or any unit they drew before? I think it was just the bear before. It was really only useful if you were solo.
Oh, before it was pretty bad. Yeah, it was really bad. Yeah, there comes a chat comment in that the Temple Guard champion can take it, and that is true. That is pretty good.
That'll tie into a discussion that we were having before we started. There's just kind of the cost involved in taking like kind of the slam kit, but that's an interesting point. I didn't realize they could take 50 points of items, so I think this is like an interesting item. It's a powerful effect, and for creating like it's kind of a Death Star item now, right?
Well, actually, I think it has also, if you play like a weird, there is no reason to do this sadly in the book as it is written right now, but if you would have like a unit of skirmishers, like 10, 15, 20 skirmishers with like...
I gotta run and put a charger on.
Okay, so if you play like 15 to 20 skirmishers and you have multiple casters or multiple heroes inside there, like orcs do in the laser list, I played against that list and they had the whatnot, so similar item. That was quite annoying because you actually had to risk shooting them, and it was the one thing that affects them the most. I think a Temple Guard star with a slan, it's only for magic missiles there. Normally they should have...
the orc one being everything is what makes it so good.
Yeah, I think the Temple Guard should have magic resistance 2 anyway, and a +3 dispeller or +2 dispeller inside of the unit. But it's still good. It just adds up another. Oh, and what is really big is that since it's a shield and not an arcane item, it does not say instead of doing a wizardly dispel.
Oh, that's true. So you can attempt to dispel. It is a little bit weird that you can attempt to dispel, right? And you fail, and then you roll in the shield.
Yes.
And then if you succeed the shield, your opponent can attempt to dispel.
Yes.
That feels odd.
Yeah. This makes the item actually way better than the orc one, because I think the orc one you have to decide that you do not dispel and instead try to reflect. And here you get the dispel attempt first, and then after your dispel attempt, you have another attempt to redirect the spell. Wow, this is big. I did not read into that.
I think the other thing is that the orc one breaks if you roll. It's 2+ and any spell, but it breaks on a 1.
No. The orcs also have a redirect item. They don't have. I don't talk about the Glory Green.
Okay, I thought it was the ogre that was the redirect item.
They have. Let's just open it here in the chat. Let's go to the orc world builder. Orcs and goblins. There we are. We are gonna take a weird boy, roll up, and it's called the glittering whatnots. And glittering whatnots say if the bearer is the target of enemy spell, they may use the glittering whatnots instead of making a wizardly dispel attempt.
Interesting.
And this one here is like, as it's written, it's a super good defense item in the current meta. I love that. But maybe we discussed too long about this item, but I think it's very strong.
Let's shift over to the Sun Standard. I think that's the big.
the second big piece that goes into the Temple Guard brick,
Yeah. So this one is 3 pieces. Enemies cannot declare a shoot charge reaction against the unit. So same as Shalon's. -1 to shoot it, same as Swirling Wind. And -1 to hit it in melee. It's just -1 to hit any roll made against the unit carrying this banner. So it's Slug Skin and Swirling Wind and Shalon's. Now, it's not nearly as powerful, on the units that normally take those items, like 50 Gore or, a bunch of Pegasus Knights that really care about not getting shot on their way into a Boshabti unit or a Thunderer unit or something like that, right? So, but with that said, that is a hell of an item. 65 points is a lot, but the Slug Skin effect is the biggest one of these 3. Slug Skin is kind of what makes the Beastman Death Star tick. It doesn't work without that. And 65 points for that plus those two other effects is very strong.
I think you already said one point, which I think is fair, that the Lizardmen do not have the units as of right now that scale good enough with it. And well did not reduce the points of the Temple Guard and the Saurus Warriors very much. We'll see this later. So basically, items of this quality are already priced in their profiles. In a void, this item is way too good. In the context,
like army that's a non-legacy army. You gave this to.
Give this to Skaven, it's also overpowered, yeah? So it can also be overpowered for legacy armies. If you put this on Harganet Executioners, if you put this on simple clan rats.
Units that already do Death Stars really well. Lizard struggle to do a good Death Star.
Yes. So maybe it's balanced by this. I really think you can have this banner also on a BSB and Ripperdactyls, or you can have this on a BSB on a Carnosaur, which is still okay item for a character for 65 points, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not bad. You're taking that in addition. You can still take your defensive items. So
yes, you can still get your 5-up ward save. You still get your magic resistance 2 or a meteoric. So
yeah,
meteoric is by the way very fun on the Saurus Warriors. We will see later why. But on the first read, I thought it's bad because I did not get that it's not only for shooting, it's also for combat. On a second reading, I thought it was too good. But the longer I think about it, it might be okay. Because we will see later what the issue is with Lizardmen Death Stars or with the Temple Guard Death Brick. So I think this is rather an item indeed for the Ripperdactyls or for the Carnosaur. But sure, I think if you play into the Temple Guard Brick, you will play this item.
Yeah, I think it's kind of mandatory to play a competitive Temple Guard Brick. It's what you need to defend the unit, even if it is extremely expensive. So it kind of has to go on the slam in that case. I don't know if Temple Guard can take 65 points.
We'll see how the FHQ handles the Earthen Ramparts then. That's another big piece there. If you take the MHD or if Earthen Ramparts is enough. And another item I do absolutely love is the Jaguar Standard.
Yeah, I think that's a nice one to add. Make a pursuit or charge roll, can add an extra d6 to discard the lowest result. That's fun. I think is that what it used to be? Or we used to be something like that or similar to that?
We just made it have Swift Stride and infantry only.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I haven't tried that one.
But the thing is, with this wording here, you do not have a bigger charge range. That is a big issue for infantry. We made it also infantry.
There's something that enhances the movement value of Taurus.
That is a very big issue. So it's for defensive infantry, it's not really good. I think this one is very nice on the Cold One Riders, as it basically cancels out terrain.
Oh, sure. You take the middle die? That's interesting.
Yeah, you take the middle one of 3 dices. It cancels out terrain, the terrain drop a bit. And if you add move through cover on this unit, on a unit like this, or in general, it's just a good tool for terrain. And I love that a lot.
Yeah. That makes sense. I think it's an interesting item. I think 30 points is probably a little bit high for what it's doing.
20 would be perfect.
I think 20 would be good. I agree.
Yeah. But it's still good, and I think it's my favorite banner to go. On the cavalry, issue with the cavalry is they're vastly overpriced. But we'll see.
We'll come to that in a little bit, but yeah.
The other things, Skaven Pelt banner, it's still bad because Frenzy is bad.
Frenzy is bad. It's really hard to fix that without changing the Frenzy.
Yeah.
It could be cheaper, but I don't know if it matters that much.
Totem of Prophecy is a bit underrated, I think.
I agree. That's what I've been running, and it's just nice. I mean, the real reason you take it, the fear is nice. It'll occasionally come up. The big thing is you don't have to test terror, right? Yeah. It just makes the unit not have to test terror. For 30 points, if that's an important build-around piece to protect a slam, just having that guarantee is really nice.
What we did was we added back the Black of Dominion. It's an item from earlier editions, so you can give wizards the Stupidity special rule, which is quite nice currently in the meta, but it's like a meta tool. I don't know if you have the points for that in Lizardmen anyway. We deleted, for the Height of the Cold Ones, we deleted Stupidity, but I think we'll come to that. And we gave it Swift Stride. But it's okay. This is, by the way, we had the reflect on a 3-up just. So, and cheaper. But the more I think about this, because it's not instead of a dispel attempt, 40 points is fair game here.
Yeah, I think it's having the double backup is a bit powerful.
Yeah. Hide of the Cold Ones is a bit awkward, as it does not synergize with the Hornet one.
I don't know how it works with the Horde one. If you're subject to stupidity but you lose stupidity, I don't know how that applies.
The Mount loses stupidity by the Hornet one, but you get stupidity from yeah. And we have to check, because if you take a small hero there, which only has armored hide, is a 6-up, he has light armor, is a 5-up, he has the cold one.
It's also really easy to get to a 2+ to get max save on them anyway, so
it's not possible anymore, huh?
Their armor value by 1 is not that exciting in general.
Let me think again. 5 by the model itself, if you take the small one, with the light armor, 4 with the height of the cold ones, 3 with the shield, and 2 with the cold one. So you'll still get a 2-up, but you're stupid. And you pay 30 points for it. Maybe worth it, maybe not. Yeah.
Well, you don't. In that case, I guess you might not just not buy the horn one at that point. You're getting the movement, but you're not losing stupidity. So.
True. I mean, the movement 8 is good. Movement 8 is good, but
yeah.
It's now also more a thing for characters in units, I think. So you can give it if you build a cavalry star or a cavalry unit, you can add it to the hero in the cavalry unit. And
if you're already stupid, I think that's kind of where it's meant to be.
Yeah, it's nothing great, but yeah. Cliff Necklace is my favorite item in the Lizardmen. There is no single list where I play without it. And Aura of Quetzal, I think Aura of Quetzal should have been a slug skin, to be honest, on 50 points.
I don't know if we need more slug skins in the game in general, especially in this case. I don't think you want to be able to stack it with Sun Standard.
Yeah, true. Absolutely. I'm not talking if the Sun Standard is not there. You could have thought of. Yeah. Then we go for the enchanted items. I think the Cloak of Feathers is overpriced as well, because we have the same problem as with the staff.
It's skink only. That's the problem, right?
Yeah.
How many?
We don't have a skink that can take 75 or 80 points of magic items. We don't have a skink that is level 3. We don't have a skink that is a Lord character, because there you would take the Cloak of Feathers, but not like that. Venom of the
skinks aren't. The chieftains aren't very strong in melee. They can be okay on the Redactyls or the Pterodons, but you can't take the Cloak of. Then why just take that, right? Just take a Pterodon.
Where are the red-crested skinks when you need them? But yeah. Venom of
the small thing. I don't think it's really a big deal in terms of rules, but it does feel odd to me that Venom of the Firefly Frog does not grant flaming attacks in this update.
Yeah,
it's the Firefly Frog. What?
Anyway, agree. You could also have an asterisk there. I saw a few people demanding the asterisk there, so you can give it to unit champions to have magical attacks in the unit. I mean, you can, of course.
Yeah, I think that's a bigger problem with like the game overall. The asterisk would be. I kind of like the item, like balancing it, maybe make it cheaper, but not have the asterisk. Personally, I think it's fun if it's a single-use item you give it to a Saurus character. But the fact that unit champions want just generic magic attacks to be able to deal with ghosts is kind of a broader challenge. Yeah. But
just make the thing 10 points, an asterisk or whatever. What did we do with 10
that? 10 points and bring back the flaming.
So we also gave it magical attacks, but we kept the flaming attacks, so it was a very similar change.
You got it.
Oh, and for the Cloak of Feathers, we added magic resistance 1. See, a small boon there. We did not change any of the Arcane items, and did here a very big thing. So, Itchy Crab, it was 30 points and a toughness test, and you lost the wound if you failed it. So it was still very powerful, but only usable on Slan, and this is questionable on a Stegodon, because I think the caster still kept his toughness as he used a split profile from a chariot.
It was plus toughness, right? Steg mounts are plus toughness.
I think they aren't they? They're a unit.
I don't think they're not chariot. I don't think you replace the toughness, and they add toughness to moves. So yeah.
I think not, because they use the chariot split profile.
They use the Howdah rule. So then I don't actually know if that works. How that works.
I don't think so, because there are no separate entries for the mount, and this means you still use the toughness of your caster for the bearer. Same way else the potion would affect the mount, I think.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
And so it was not really usable there.
No, your toughest 2 skinks don't really want to.
No. And what he did now is he made it 20 points. He made it using the leadership, where we have the cold-blooded, and then their own leadership, to be fair, but still. And then we have a +3
Does it
modifier.
say own leadership?
It says own leadership.
Taking a leadership test.
No, using their own leadership. Making a leadership test using their own leadership.
Am I looking at the wrong document?
It is the draft. I can send you again. Maybe he changed some things to the earlier version.
Okay, maybe it got changed to the last one.
Okay.
I'll pull for it.
Yeah, and this is a pretty big item because it lets you basically take, if you could take a skink with high magic or something like that, that would be pretty big. So Fury Invocation, suddenly you're able to cast that one, and it gives the level 1 or level 2 casters a good option to put their spells out. Like Elementalism Skink suddenly makes sense. You can just play an Elementalism Skink with 2 Itchy Crops level 2, and you will get good value out of this.
Yeah, I don't hate the concept. I mostly think it's too good because it's the same point as a Power Scroll, which is a reasonable item and that's something you always want. But for casting important spells, it's pretty good. +3 to a casting roll is so much better than a roll an extra die, discard the lowest. I think we can compare this to, there's a sacrament the Bretonians have. They pay
25.
I think it's
25 for +2. Mm.
Yeah, right. This is 20 points for +3. Now, mind you, you need a leadership test. It's not guaranteed, but it's 20 points. It's almost half the cost, so you could have 2 of them. For 5 points more. It's +3, which is such a massive difference.
So I think this is a spammable item.
And if it's on a slam, then you're very unlikely to fail. So
you also don't have any risk because you don't lose the wound. So I think losing the wound would be not that bad.
You don't have the increased chance of miscasting. Yeah.
No. Also the part normally it makes
you can't lose a wound if you fail anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. So and you don't have much risk of miscasting. So it's a pretty safe item for 20 points.
I agree. I think it's too much better than a Power Scroll for how it is. Even at +2, I think this item would be excellent.
I mean, there are items like the Chaos Dwarf Scroll for 30 points, which just roll 3 dice as flat, which gives you also on average a +3.5, but increased chance of miscasting, and it's 30 points. So here you have the leadership test, which is better for you than the higher risk of miscasting. And
probably for a slant at least.
Yeah, I think even on a skink,
I
leadership
think on
6.
average the math is not exact, but it's very rolling 3 dice 6 discarding the lowest.
We have it here. 1 second.
It's very close to +2.
In our document we included that one. So on a 6, it's a 68% chance.
Yeah.
So that's still okay-ish. And what you also can do is you can use multiple. No, a single. It says a single itchy crop. Okay, good. That's good then. Yeah, but I think it's a good item. It's a very good item, and it has the problem that the slan is so packed with items that maybe even if it is so good, you will rarely take one if you are limited by 500 points. If you play 3,000 points, if you don't play with the Games Workshop one, then it doesn't matter that much. I think Winslow is gone. Sorry, phone died even while charging. Okay, this is a big issue, I think, in the book with the slan, that is very, very loaded with items, and we will see later why more. The cupboard hand of the old ones was not changed. It's 55 points still. It's too expensive if you have the other items. I think it's a fun idea that if you miscast, that you then can redirect your miscast blast onto other units. Especially because you do not roll on a miscast, so you cannot kill your own magic phase and things like that. So if you have a lot of a lot of spells to cast that can save your day, but I think that taking defensive items or utility items or offensive items as well, like Itchy Crab, like a Ruby Ring, is more important on the Slan to justify the point cost he has. So it's too expensive, and maybe for 25 points, something like that. I mean, you give up a lot here. So let's see. I have to 1 second. To invite Winslow just again. Give me 1 second, please. I think I'm just gonna call him on Discord here. That is way easier. So, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. All right.
Perfect. I can hear as well, so that works. And it seems that you're also in the stream there. So perfect.
Yeah, I just okay.
Yeah. Okay. Then no video for Jeff, but we will have him here with voice. Let's go to
my phone struggled valiantly, but it couldn't keep up with the rigors of streaming.
Let's go to the disciplines of the old ones.
Yes, I'm excited to get into these.
Pretty big change, right?
Yeah, so you can pick the first thing. You can take 3, and the first one is the most important one. This is the one you're going to mostly see in the Slan focus list. The character may apply +1 to any of their casting or dispel rolls. They can cast 1 spell per turn more than their level of wizardry. Slan normally no fly spells. This means you can cast all your spells every turn at +3. Now this is 65 points.
We have the level 5. We have the finally level 5 caster.
That's right. This is so you have no 5 spells. You can cast 5 spells. You cast it +3 to spell it +3. Now, with that said, Slan are 285 base. So with just a basic Slan and this, well, that is very powerful. You are paying 350 points for that package.
Yeah. Let's keep that somewhere in a note. Let me see if I can do a note here. I have a document open, but maybe I just should open a Google Docs document where we maybe have some army list stuff. So Slan, as you said, 285 baseline. With the discipline, it's 65, right?
Correct.
So we are already at 350.
And notably, you can take up to 3 of these, although they do stack up pretty fast in cost.
Yes, and you can at maximum you can take 100 points. They're capped to 100 points. So I think what else can you do then? You cannot do the focus of mystery then, where you know all the spells of the lore.
Although I think the focus of mystery is unexciting.
We discussed that, right? We discussed that.
Yeah. Well, we had a different version of it. The version that we had in German comp was you could pick your lore at the start of the game instead of right before rolling spells.
Yes, but when we discussed that at the very start, we had the same.
Yes, there was a few different versions of this. One was that you could pick from any lore, still chosen as normal, but like you could pick troll magic, you could pick the wood elf, the wild magic, things like that. That was one. I don't know how the balance that would be, but it would be fun. One where you could pick at the start of the game, and then there was something much more similar to this.
Yeah.
So
there's like 3 options you could have for the vendoring, the liberations, the style we did it, because we thought the signature spells is pretty boring. Either know all the spells, but Chaos has it for the book, or you can take any lore in the game, which is like this typical 15 to 20 points item. A lot of armies have to get another lore, or basically chose the lore at the start of the game, and we suggested to give that one, as it makes the list overall more flexible. This is a bit of, with 5 spells already known.
Yeah. I don't find this that exciting. There's not much reason to take a lore familiar on it, as you noted. You already know 5 spells.
The big thing here is that you can take both of the Lore of Illustria spells, which he aimed to make good. So you want to take them in monster lists, you want to take them in a control list as well.
Can you heal monsters? I thought you couldn't with the update.
Yes, you couldn't if it would be changed to that. That is correct. And this is one of the reasons why it is not that good in the monster list, and also not that much.
You can only heal character monsters, not non-character.
Yeah.
Got it.
You can take regen on the focus rumination. You miss out then the ethereal. I think regen goes hand in hand with ethereal if you want to play defensive and alone, the Battletoad. Then you don't get a +2 casting, which is awkward, but it's not that bad because we have the itchy crop for the doppelganger and we have the engine of the gods, right?
Yeah.
Sadly, not anymore, yeah. And this is the main issue about the Slan, and we can talk about this now. It's pretty much preset what he does. You will take the focus rumination as, spoiler alert, the engine of the gods is gone, and you need desperately that plus casting. You will have him as a BSB if you play Slan in a unit. He will also be the BSB. I think that is pretty safe. He will take the
Sun Standard. Yeah.
So he's at 365. He will take the Sun Standard. That one is 65 as well. I mean, this is a self-made issue. You don't have to take the Sun Standard, or you could also see it as comp for the Sun Standard. And this is what I also said earlier. It's not that hard. By the way, I think Temple Guard has 100 points banner allowance. So I think
so you could take it. That makes it easier on the Slan.
Temple Guard.
I think Slan is kind of a sunk cost fallacy unit, where if you're already spending that much on a wizard, the leadership 9 is also really big on that character.
Yep.
With it's so powerful with what's it called? The 3d6. So it's very good. Your whole army is built around it. You're kind of obliged to take Temple Guard for it. You're obliged to take Rumination. You spend like 450, 500 points on the Slan. You spend 300, 400 points on the Temple Guard. Like, that's the core of what your army is doing.
True.
But you are kind of locked into taking that 900 points to make the Slan both cast powerfully and not be vulnerable to just getting sniped or charged or whatever.
Another issue you have there is, like, you invest 375 into the Slan, you invest 400 to 500 to Temple Guard, and they can have not drilled, we'll see this later, but they do not fly, you don't have access to demonology, you don't have a specific no-fly tool in the army, so it's very hard to catch things with that unit. So it's a defensive unit, you need to shoot there, and the Slan, even if he knows all his spells, will most likely only have one magic missile. So he himself does not very much. You can give a ruby ring to the champion, but I think the champion will take the whatnots thingy for 40 points, the shield. That's pretty good on the champion. So what is there? I think, in addition, another thing I just talked about is the carpet hands of the old ones. With the Soul of Stone, where you just can decide to not roll on a cast table, it's only on the first time, but it's most often enough for a whole game. I think this one is very good. I would take that.
Yeah.
It's cheap enough.
I agree. It's 15 points. I kind of did like the other one where you could up. It was 10 points to be able to modify it up or down by one. That felt very interesting to me, but I think it's still good. So
yeah. And then you're already up to 80 points, and you can only take the Harrowing Scrutiny. Which gives terror, but I don't think it's needed.
Yeah, you're charging not often, and if you charge really something, the odds that something that cares about terror is also.
You can do if you go Battletoad with the Ethereal.
Sure. Running solo, yeah.
But then you lose out on regen, and it's also this is the illusion caster. Yeah, if you do like illusion, then you need this.
Like an Ogre Blade or something. Yeah.
Yeah, but in this case, the big issue I see with that is. A lot of people are attacking right now against Ethereal, and in addition, you still need that +1 to cast for these big complexity spells. Yeah. And you still
I think you have to take the hammer, the always win on a 3+. If you want to do that, because the problem with the Slan is he's weapon skill 2, strength 3, right? Yeah. You're still not, even if you're taking an Ogre Blade, you're still only up to strength 5.
You're taking the hammer, you're taking 2 times the itchy crop, and you're just praying that you roll the doppelganger.
And I think of the doppelganger wizards, he's surely the worst one in that case, right? He's just
yes. It's a fun build. It's a fun build, and I'm very glad that Val kept some of the stats and needs for that. But so the focus rumination is basically a must-have on a Slan. I do understand why he does it here, because he wants to provide the Slan to be that big level 5 caster. But it is so dominant that it will basically remove any other build. It's the same problem we have in the Dark Elf draft with the Word of Power on the level 4 and the Tome of Furion being an asterisk item. You only ever will take an Elementalism caster with 5 spells where you switch out the Flaming Sword for the signature spell there. And I feel very similar here. So I see either High Magic or most likely Elementalism Slan being the thing to do here. I loved to play Illusion Slan, but I just right now I don't see it. I don't think it's really viable.
Yeah, at least not some kind of like solo battle told build. It's a lot of work and the payoff's just not there.
I mean, if you go for the illusion guy, you want to control, so you need a lot of arcane vessels. This means you lack striking power in the characters. You need some striking power. So the doppelganger on the Battletoad was always the thing, at least to have a little bit of pressure on the table to give a threat here and there. But yeah, it's more of a fun build anyway.
I think just going through the others, the Calming Cogitation is the same thing. It's a little bit cheaper. Same with Sorcerer's Void. German comp we changed to just Matter Sense 2, just to make it a little bit more stable. Yeah. I think it's still fine as it is. Soul Stone we talked about.
Sure.
I think the rest of them are fine, but it is kind of very helpfully focused on that.
We also reduced the Ethereal to 40 points, by the way. Not 60 points.
Yeah. I think that ended up, especially when you don't have, the Slan is not made to float around outside of the unit, like in the basic Lizardmen rules, then you can't join the unit if you're ethereal, right? Yeah. So that's a big downside.
So even here with the multiple disciplines, 40 points would still deny the rumination, but it would allow to take the transcendent healing and another one, Sorcerer's Void or something like that. So it saves you some points.
Harrowing Scrutiny and cosplay as a hex, right?
Or that one, yeah. That's true. That's true. All right. So yeah, Wandering Deliberations is the thing I want to talk about as well. Instead of generating spells normally, this character knows 5 signature spells chosen from the following laws: Battle Magic, Demonology, Dark Magic, Elementalism, High Magic, Illusion, and Necromancy. So we have Drain Magic. We do have
Drain Magic. We have the Summoning. Battle Magic is not that exciting. Dark Magic is a magic missile, but not a great one. Elementalism is terrible. Illusion is very good. Necromancy is terrible again. So
Necromancy is an area of effect
assailment, it's an assailment.
Right? Yes.
Yeah, it's strength 3 with no armor pen.
So
and it scatters.
I think the Elementalism spell is not that bad if you can do Arcane Vessel on 24-inch.
I guess that does help.
And
I think the effect is still very medium.
And in addition,
minus 1 movement, minus 1 initiative.
Yeah, but this is important. You can take the 2 Lystria spells.
Yes.
So you could take 2 magic missiles, Drain Magic, Monsoon, and Glittering Robe.
Yes, I think that's not a bad package to have.
That's a good
35
one.
points for that is not unreasonable.
The question is it better than Elementalism?
In my opinion, no. Especially since you're paying 35 points for it. Definitely not.
No.
Because you can still take one of the... It's not like that's the only way to get the Lustrous spells. And I think mostly you're in this for Monsoon. So I just don't see much. Like, there are other lores of magic that are good.
Maybe this is the way to do on the Slan if you want to go for a smaller unit of Temple Guard, and if you want to have some shooting pressure. I think then you need the Wandering Deliberations, and in addition Ruby Ring, or you take Battle Magic, but then you have only 1 missile. You cannot roll it.
Yeah, and you can take this with Focus Rumination, so that's something.
Yeah, so this is maybe a different build, a secondary build you could have there. So like Slan.
I do think the guarantee option, you always know which options you have, which is a powerful effect. Like, guarantees on Magic are strong. Think about how many builds involve Lore Familiar or knowing 5 or 6 spells to guarantee what you can roll for. But
true. Another issue is if you put this up. Oh, sorry, you cannot take the miscast thingy. Then you cannot take that as you are already locked on 100. You can take a Ruby Ring on him. I think that's a given. And what else can you do for 65 points there? 65 points is actually the banner, right? So you could take the banner just on him.
Yeah.
But I think you want then Itchy Crops. You want to have the summoning.
Well, the banner doesn't count against your magic item allowance. Because it's the BSB, right?
True, but I
that-
count for the 400 here.
Oh, you're still the 500 cap.
500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hit that cap very quickly.
So you are already at 485 with discipline, BSB, Ruby Ring, 2 times Itchy Crab. That's what I say. That's already, it's too much. And if you check now, you can't even take then the Fear Totem or any good totem. You can't even take the MHT. If you take the MHT there, that would be great. Like, but then you're on 510, so you have to drop one of the Itchy Crabs.
Yeah, you'd probably take the Sun Standard on the Temple Guard unit, so you'd have more points in the slam.
Yeah, exactly. But even then, you just don't have points. You don't have points. You have a Ruby Ring, an Itchy Crab, and an MHT, and that's it.
Yeah, because it's not just the 500 points for the slam. The fact is you're running out of army points very quickly when if you're shifting things. The more things you shift over that unit, you're making a 40-point shield. The champion, you get a 65-point banner on them, and then they're 15 points a model, and you want a whole bunch of them because you're running a slam, and you want to protect your 500-point slam. So now that's 1,000 points.
So let's
immediately that's half your army.
Yeah, so. And you need output on that. You need mobility on that. If we check for the Chaos Lord, the Sorcerer Lord, a level 4 Sorcerer Lord with a Spell Familiar and a Skull of Katam is also 300 points. But a Skull gives at least the AOE thingy. He is a little bit more flexible in his equipment, in his mount, so you cannot have mounts there. I don't think that the Slan is for his abilities too expensive. The issue is just that it forces, exactly as you say, it forces a certain playstyle at the moment, and then it costs too much points for the general output of the list. A Sorcerer Lord like in Chaos, for example, he can amplify Chaos Knights, he can amplify other casters, stuff like that. And you cannot do this with a Slan.
Correct. It doesn't have the Slan, I think, really wants to be a support piece. And you typically just can't pay as much for a Slan as you're paying for as you want to pay for a support piece and have it feel strong.
Yeah, a lot of people bring arguments for the Slan being around 250 points, and I think that is reasonable. You could also allow him to be a level 3, but I see that as an issue because then suddenly the double Slan is back. You can then bring 2 Slans, which feels a bit weird. I don't know if you need that from a style point of view, but
yeah, 2,000 at least.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. But however, this was the Arcane items and the disciplines, and now we come to the lore of Lustria. Mm-hmm. We already had a short talk about the Monsoon. Goes up to casting value 10 up, which is, I think, personally, with Itchy Crab available, with the Slan having the plus to cast, it's fine.
I think this is a buff. It's also at 18-inch range.
Yes.
I think before it was 15 or 12.
15,
yeah.
I think. 15
That's a big difference.
On an 8 or 9. I think even on an 8, so it was pretty fast dispelled. And you cannot dispel it that easy, which is so important for a spell that has no line of sight. And now comes the big one. You choose where it moves. Like this thing here is insanely strong.
And it may move. It doesn't have to move either.
Yeah, it may.
I didn't realize. I thought it was optional whether you moved or not. I didn't realize you had to pick the direction. That is a lot.
Like you have a Crystal of Column that you may move. I mean, you can move through it, yeah, but still, it blocks the charge by the line of sight. That you may move these 6 inches in the direction of the caster's choosing.
Yeah, but defensively, it's a lot stronger than a Column of Crystal because while your opponents can't move or fly through it, you can be poking out of one side of it. So you have vision on one side, but you're blocked on the other.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's a water feature and you move through open ground, which is not a huge port in the army, but all your skinks like that are thrilled to be playing around this. Yeah. The other thing that's important is you could cast it, depending if it's out for a few turns, you can have your skink move it and then have them shoot out of it and then move it so that it's blocking their line of sight to them.
And your opponent cannot charge then, right?
Correct. So you can really manipulate, and then needing it 10 plus, think about how hard it is to spell Spectral Vortex, or Spiritual Vortex, even when you're dispelling with a +2. You need to roll a 9 on the dice to spell it. That's hard to do. while there's a decent number of armies that can now cast with like a +3, dispelling with a +3 is not that common.
Yeah, it's super good.
So,
I think this spell is super good now, and maybe it's a tad too much. I don't know.
I think this is a little bit too. I think picking the direction is too good. I think.
Yeah. Now,
if you didn't have that element to it, it would be a lot more balanced.
Yeah, then it would
And the
still
water
be a good
feature
spell,
element
right?
is fun. I like the synergy with the rest of the list. It makes sense. It's a monsoon. It is a water feature in some sense. Right?
I mean, the big spell for the Beastmen for the Primal War, it's not that different. It does not move.
It's not, but I think the important consideration is it's not a signature. Right?
Exactly.
If you're
That's what I
doing that,
wanted.
you're-
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Exactly my point. Continue. It's
Right, like
correct, yeah.
Viletide, for example, wouldn't be busted if you had to roll and you weren't guaranteed to have it. Monsoon, I think, is similar. If the Beastmen beneath the Shade and Woadspan, if that was a signature spell, damn, that's a very powerful effect. But you have to take a particular lore, which has some misses in it, as most lores do, but it's not elemental, except for elementalism. Just being able to guarantee that you have it, it's harder to cast this with Skinks. I think it's just better for the Slan, but it is harder to hit this with
Even on a
Wizards than it
skink, you
used to
can
be.
have the Itchy Crab there. You then
You
cast
can.
with the +4.
Yeah. But they are testing on their own leadership, which is like a 5. So,
6.
is it 6?
It's a 6.
On the
Yeah.
King Priest? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it's
So
not
6
too
is
bad.
68% chance, but this is a game-winning piece.
Yeah.
If you
it's
have
just so hard to spell.
if you have 3 or 4 of them, or 5 of them, you can have up to 5 of them on the
Oh
table.
my gosh, yeah.
You can just block entire armies. You can turn off
Yeah.
entire armies with that just by.
This is ignoring the -1 to shoot, and they also changed it so you need to roll a 4+ now to shoot with the War Machine's been drenched by it. But it only. I'll say this is actually an annoying piece to keep track of. Because it used to be if a unit got drenched, it retained that effect for the remainder of the game.
You can just.
Now you have to track which vortex drenched them, which I hate.
Yeah.
That is probably my biggest complaint about this spell. Is that if you have more than one of these in play, and they're close to each other, especially tracking which unit drenched them is very awkward.
I also think that, I mean, it's a nerf for that ability. But this ability is only a small portion of its power.
That is more a flavor thing than anything else.
Yeah.
That's very minor.
I don't know. With the improved
it's not
range,
irrelevant.
with the improved range, with Troglodons being around movement
think,
8,
yeah.
and with Arcane Vessel, you can use the Troglodons to go forward. Then you cast it from your slant through Troglodon, and then you move it in the direction you want, potentially
Yeah,
hitting
I would
War
say the
Machines.
direction, shoot in the direction, and also being guaranteed that you move. Like that's the other thing is sometimes one of the challenges I find running Monsoon in the German comp event is that it is a powerful effect, but it's cast on an 8+ the way we're running it. So pretty reasonable to cast with Skinks, getting a +2. But pretty reasonable to spell. You don't know if it's going to still be there. And sometimes you put it in front of a cavalry bus to block them, and then it just shifts over to the side, and they charge through the water, and it doesn't matter.
I think
So-
this makes this version better of the Slan, where you take the.
I think this version is very much better. This is a lot more powerful. The fact that the shooting debuff is temporary is pretty minor in comparison to increased range, it counting as a water feature, it being significantly harder to dispel, and you controlling the movement is massive. This is a much more powerful spell. In my opinion, I think this is too good.
Yeah,
I think this could be toned down.
I love the Summon Elemental Spirit to block line of sight with it. I love the Woodspan thingy because it's so powerful, and this one just puts another level on top of that. So
I agree. Any of those, and the Elemental Spirit is a small template. Like the large template that blocks the left side, any of those, Column of Crystal, are some of the most powerful spells in the game. And I think having that as a signature that's hard to spell.
You know, I love to play Evasion, and this one here, the changes to Monsoon alone could give an army the ability to play on Evasion because it's such a powerful control spell.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
That is crazy. And with 2 Troglodons, with 2 Skink Priests, and with 1 Slan, you can theoretically have 5
You
of
can take
them.
3 Skink Priests. They're not Oda 1 anymore. You can just run 3 of them. You can have 6.
Yeah. True. At least you have 6 attempts, and then you don't need the Itchy Crab. You don't need the leadership test. 2 will go off.
Yeah, just roll more dice. Problem solved.
Crazy good. Apotheosis
Yeah.
is like the unwanted child next to it, honestly.
Yeah, it's so much less exciting.
What did we do here?
We made it affect. We made it D3 or D3 plus 1, and it could affect monsters or characters. Even with that
in the
change,
German comp, but
Yeah,
for the
in the German comp,
Renegades,
yeah.
we tuned it down. We said you get 1 lost wound or D3 lost wound, but this spell can only target friendly monsters, not friendly characters or characters, so of any troop type, and may target units engaged in combat.
Yes, I think the spell is pretty unexciting.
Yeah, like this, it's just not good, because I mean it can help heal your slan. That's a very important thing if you're.
That's the main reason you want this, is for the slan.
If you play the control list, if you play a slan-centered list where the slan does not go into the unit, I'm pretty set you will take Wandering Deliberations and you will take both of the signature spells.
Have this, yeah.
That's okay. That is indeed okay, and yeah, the fear one, the terror one, it doesn't.
I think in general, Apotheosis is just hard to balance. Healing is such a powerful effect we see with undead armies. It's hard to balance it around being able to heal anything. I think it's fine that it can't heal units. But you're such a fine line between it being kind of mopey, like it is now, and being too powerful.
Yeah.
I don't know how to balance this very well without making it just do something completely different. So
About the monsoon, our version was also 18 inches. It was 9 up instead of 8 up, so we already go towards the same direction. And what we said is that it moves still d6 in a random direction. I think that is fair. So if you roll hit, it's still set, and you cannot control it. And we had strength for the remainder of the game, -1 to hit during the shooting phase, and a -1 modifier to its initiative. Wow, okay, small buff there, and kept the 1 on the war machine. I think, actually, I would keep it for the war machine at a 1. And if you want to make it flavorful, then say if the machine uses the black powder misfire, then it's on a 1 to 3.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the other thing we could still is the water feature element. I think that's interesting.
Yeah, I like that. I just think that choosing the direction and the May, it's too good.
I think the combination of that is just extremely powerful, especially on a large template that blocks line of sight. It's such a powerful utility effect that I think some chance for it to fail is healthy.
Yeah, indeed. Else it's too good in my opinion, and it will be okay. I'm slowly getting back in touch with the document and back in touch with the army, because when I saw it first, I did not delve that deep into all these options, and I think it on a I don't want to say low level, but on a first glance, it sets the path pretty fast and pretty hard for the army, but there is more to discover. Okay, Slan Priest profile. Let's see that. We have the movement 4, so you can keep up with the...
I mean, this is the same as Renegades, right?
Yes, I saw a version where it had only fly 4. And fly 4 is just horrible if you want to play the Slan without the Temple Guard unit. If you want to play the control Slan. And if he had fly 4, there is no way you would play him outside of a unit of Temple Guard. Absolutely no reason.
The big change they have here is that the Slan has 360 vision and ignores models. Well, ignores models in the unit is already rules written.
The problem is if you are in the unit. No, it's not 360. It's per se it's 360 if he's not in the unit. But if he is in the unit, they deleted the 360 vision arc from the earlier versions of Renegades, which is kind of a nerf. And he also loses large target, which was pretty important in a lot of my games, that he is a large target if he is ethereal. So as you can hear, I come from the ethereal Slan. Yeah, I played that guy quite often, and there a large target was very important. And if you would have him large target in the unit, that would be also very interesting, because you could always shoot at the unit, you would see the unit, but the unit would not see you.
Also, the 18-inch range on your general on PSP is a big deal.
That was big. That was pretty big. Exactly. That was pretty big, especially for skinks. So I miss large target a lot. Really a lot. I think he should be large target.
I think that would actually be a good discipline. if it was something about him being like a commander or whatever, counting the large target for the purpose, or just having an 18-inch command range. I think that would be an interesting discipline.
True. That is very interesting. If he goes into the unit, so you could make it like 35 points, maybe. Yeah. So it fits to the casting thing, and that would give him a good ability. True. So I think, of course, for that points he has, you could also give him everything. You could give him 360 within a unit. You could give him large targets, still monstrous infantry. All of that would still work, I think.
I agree. I think a lot of the utility effects like that, or the ease of use, really makes sense given how much points you're investing into the model. Yeah. Giving you opportunities to actually do his thing when you're already spending so much on him really is, I think, a fine way to help balance him. And
so give him that. Give him 360 in the unit. Give him large target. Give him firing. Basically, give him firing platform. We also had that in German Comp. He has firing platform special rule, I think. And give him large target back. And then you can control everything. You have the 18-inch. You don't have to worry too much about your clumsy movement with the Temple Guard. You don't have to worry too much that you cannot shoot targets or cannot interact with targets just because your how is it called? Your charge arc is then too bad. I mean, also, to be honest, being able to cast always as you're outside of combat and having 24 inches arcane vessel, basically, you don't need to have the 360 anymore.
That's true. That is a good point. If you're running him with skinks, then
but it's still it's quality of life to have that for him. It's in my opinion, it's a bit quality of life. Another thing I do not like in the Palanquin special rule, as it's written here, is he must be placed in the second rank, and as long this model is not in base-to-base contact with an enemy model, they do not count as being in the fighting rank, and they may cast the display as normal. However, it may not cast assailment spells. This means if you are in a unit,
cast assailment spells.
Yes. Period.
Through your skinks, no matter what. Yeah.
Neither through them. This is also not possible because the vessel disqualifies them.
The timing doesn't work because you have to cast it during. Like, you have to cast them when you fight, but you cast them to another combat, not when they're fighting. It's very awkward, I think.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work. That's good. So casting assailment spells through other skinks not working is a good thing, I guess, because of all this.
I agree.
What could happen there.
Yeah.
But it would be very beneficial if he could cast assailment spells like a lady from the second rank. Or if he would have at least the ability to go into the fighting rank.
Which I think is what it is in German Comp right now, right?
Yes, we said that he can go there. And what is also super important here is that, I mean, if you play him in a Temple Guard unit, and the Temple Guard unit is like big, you have a ton of halberd attacks potentially, right? And if a monster goes in there, you don't necessarily want to challenge. But the issue is, if you decline the challenge, he can still choose the slant to retire.
Can you choose a model from the... I think you have to choose a model from the fighting rank to retire.
I'm pretty sure. Let's see.
I thought you didn't have to.
Refusing a challenge. Let's see what the rulebook says about refusing a challenge. If the opponent player refuses to accept the challenge, that player may issue the challenge that may nominate.
That could have accepted it. You have to nominate a character that could have accepted it. And if he's not in the fighting rank, he could not have accepted it.
I see. Okay.
I think that is okay.
Okay, then I'm fine with that. Then I'm fine with that. Okay, but because this was an issue I saw when reading that rules and direction, but it's fine then. Good to know. Thank you for clarifying that. Very important. Yeah, I still would like to cast assailment spells with my slant, or at least have the option.
I think just having the option to play Battletoad if you want to is fun. It's not. I'm not probably still not good, but you know.
Yeah, but the Battletoad is a standalone guy, so we need to fly 8. We got to fly 8. It's fine. Yeah. Would be cool if we have some other rules. Like, he's literally on a platform, so having firing platform would be pretty good.
Yeah, I think just like it was a chariot where he can cast and shoot, and
I mean, if you play him alone, back again to that logic, you have 360 because you are then monstrous infantry lone
right. It doesn't really change anything there.
Yeah, but in the unit, I don't know. I don't think that is good enough to justify the points, but having a large target would be pretty big. Also, it implies it gives you some very awkward mechanic with your unit when it comes to shooting, when it comes to being seen for charges, for example, because he's able. Unit can be seen.
You need a lot of rules text to make the large target work.
Yeah, exactly. But maybe as a discipline then, just for the 18 inches command range.
Yeah, I think that'd be a better way to do it. Because really, like, if you're denying your opponent the benefits of them being a large target anyway, you might as well, like, just not have it be an actual large target. Just extend the command range, you're fine. So,
Yeah.
all right, Saurus Heroes.
Sorcerers, yes. They are a bit bland.
Yes.
They have the predatory fighter. We remember that. So
Yeah, so they
exploding
trade
sixes.
Furious Charge for Predatory Fighter, which is fine. I think it's probably pretty close, like slightly worse than the charge, slightly better when not charging.
It's okay,
Which is fine. Yeah.
The big change here is Armored Hide 2 and the ability to buy light armor. So basically, Armored Hide 2, instead of Scaly Skin, does mostly one thing. It gives you Carnosaur Armored Hide 2 instead.
Correct. The Old Blood and Carnosaur doesn't need anything else. It just
3-up.
has a 3-up without a shield, without anything else.
And it improves your magic armor. Like if you take an Armor of Destiny or how it's called, then you still get your 2-up or 3-up armor
yeah,
save.
you also don't need anything. Yeah.
That is like super weird. That it's a bit weird that Lizardmen are now the best armor bearers in the game. This was one of the reasons why we rolled back. At the start we had it, and then instead we added the passes of natural armor, where we said that they're allowed to buy magic armor, because if they only have the Scaly Skin and the shield, they're not allowed to buy a suit of magical armor, only a magical shield, only an equivalent.
Right, that was always the problem.
And now we do have the option to take a light armor, and if you have the option to buy a light armor, that is good enough to buy magic armor. So that is a fix, yeah? That is a good fix, I love that.
Yeah, I agree.
The light armor is also, light armor shield is a 5-up with Armored Hide 2. It's a 3-up, so it doesn't give you a 2-up without the parry and everything, but you always get the 3-up with a great weapon on the mount. It's okay, it's good. I like that. You can toy around with that. Armored Hide was also one of my ideas. I think it's still pretty good. Good change. With the light armor, you don't need the natural armor special rule. It just makes the mounted version so much better.
Yeah, I agree. That's really where the big difference is. On foot, it's mostly the same thing.
Yeah.
But mounted or with.
So, for example, the Saurus Old Blood. If you play the Old Blood, he is for 140. He gets then the Carno is 170. He already has a 3-up. You take the Cliff Necklace, for example, for 45. You have MR2. You have a 5-up ward save. You have everything you need. You take then a great weapon for just 4 points. And the big thing is, you can take, and this is what I wanted to say in the beginning, you can take the Meteoric Iron Armor for 20 points, because your Carnosaur wears armor, 5-up, and the armor save of the mount is improved by your Armored Hide, because Armored Hide is interchangeable.
You can have a 3+ or a 5+, depending on what you want, even without any other items on the character.
Exactly. And this is the same as Dark Elf Dragons can have with the Sea Dragon Cloak, but it's better than a lot of the dragons, because it's not a 4-up, it's a 3-up instead. So they're more bulky. If they also get the +1 toughness, which is rumored, or if normal monsters, written monsters, we don't know. But imagine a Carnosaur going at toughness 7, 3-up or 5-up armor, and then a 5-up ward, MR2, with a great weapon for, what is this, 310, 355, 379 points. Sold.
Yeah, that's a pretty strong effect. The other thing is, if we want to skip ahead to mounts a little bit, there's some buffs to the Carnosaur too. Do you want to just do that now? While we're talking about it?
Yeah, we can, sure. The Carnosaur basically gets weapon skill 4, finally. We gave him weapon skill 5. Seems like we are the crazy guys here. Where is it?
The other thing is that the multiple wounds on his attacks now applies to all enemies, not only monsters.
That's big as well.
Which is a really big difference.
He kills monstrous stuff so hard. And
he got Predatory Fighter.
He has Predatory Fighter on its own, yeah. So he has exploding 6s as well.
I think the weapon skill increase, I definitely agree. I think Predatory Fighter is fun on the Carnosaur. It makes a certain amount of sense. I'm not sure how I feel about the D3 against everything. And now, I mean, the Carnosaur only having 4 attacks is definitely kind of mopey, but multiple wounds I'm always wary of because it's such a powerful ability.
It's basically a fucking T-Rex. Let him have that.
Yeah. Yeah. The limit of 4 attacks is definitely a significant downside. Now, they are strength 7, they are AP3.
I mean, you can just roll 3 6s.
You can, yeah.
But still, weapon skill 4 is not that great. You hit Gores in the unit on a 5. You hit other stuff. You hit so bad with him still.
I think the consideration is that this is the dragon, right? Like, you don't have any other monstrous mounts.
Yeah.
So you get the Stegodons.
Stegodons are great. You will see that later.
But for the Saurus, for your combat characters, this is it. This is the big guy. That's all you got. So I think it's fine for him to be good.
Yeah. I think even the +4 wounds is a bit low. So only +4 wounds is not that great.
Yeah, you end up at 7 on the old blood or 6 on the regular guy.
Yeah, I think we even gave
but
the
he's not that
guys
expensive
a
either.
wound.
He's only 170, right? He's like,
so
he's kind of in that Griffin range, and +4 is about that range for them.
Yeah, but a Griffin is what? A Griffin is 340 and has fly, and this guy is 380 and has no fly. And has,
I mean, this guy hits a lot harder than the. I mean, it's different. Don't get me wrong. This guy is
different.
7.
He has 2 stomp attacks.
He's top. They're gonna be top to 6, and it's got 2 stomp attacks instead of like a die 3. It is a behemoth, but I mean, strength 7, AP3, D3 wounds is a lot better than what the Griffin does, right? I think that's the main thing I'm thinking about. So I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting that they're still end up being fairly expensive because you're paying for the Saurus character and you're kind of obligated to buy them a ward save. But I think it's an interesting package. I don't think the Saurus characters are bad in this. I just think they're a little bit less exciting than I like them to be. I wish they had a little bit more.
Yeah, they're just fighters. They're just blind fighters, and you can spam now Carnosaurus with not much invest. You can have now 2 Carnosaurs at least with pretty powerful effects. Yeah. What I think is that 140 points is still way too much for that profile because they are so bland, and
you have to take a mount or they kind of don't do anything.
Yeah,
move at 4,
exactly.
So you're obligated to take a mount. At which point you're not. I mean, they're just a lot of points based. Now the stat profile is much like the Saurus. You've got compared to like a normal character, right?
But compare it to an ogre. Let's compare it to an Ogre Kingdoms guy to a Butcher.
I think the Scar veteran is a lot more reasonably priced because I think that the biggest thing to consider is that like you're paying 50 points for you don't get an extra leadership, you don't get an extra initiative, you don't get an extra strength or toughness. You get weapon skill, wound, and attack. And those are important stats, don't get me wrong, but you're getting a lot less than normally you get from that Lord.
The issue is you don't make the jump to 7 weapon skill. The jump to 7 weapon skill is so much bigger than from 5 to 6.
And the jump to 9 leadership, right? Yeah. So
if you check out the Bruiser from the Ogre Kingdoms, he has weapon skill 5, he has strength 5, toughness 5, so the same as the veteran guy. Yeah,
the Minotaur character is the same way.
He has 4 attacks.
5s.
He has leadership 8. So he's very similar, but he gets a full fucking wound. He has movement 6. So, he gets 2 wounds. He has 4 wounds, and the lizard guy has only 2 wounds. So that is insane. In my opinion, when you have this stat line and you have these points for the characters, I know we all hate a tiny bit of the Hero Hammer stuff, but in this case here, a wound more on them is justified.
Yeah, I agree. I think it makes them they're like with the low weapon skill and I think it just makes them feel more
low initiative. Like, initiative 3 on a combat hero.
They're soft stats. They're low movement. Like even their mount options can't go higher than a 7, right? They're just not that fast.
Yeah.
I think it makes them feel bulkier and a little bit more like dangerous.
They are bulky soldiers. They are bulky fighters.
And maybe you increase the cost slightly to accommodate that, like 145 and 95.
I don't think you have to. I don't think you have to
either. I think you could add 5 points and it'd be fine.
We just
with
added
extra wound is a big.
We added 20 points on the Old Blood. We added 20 points on the Old Blood by giving both the wound extra and giving them the Sacred Spawnings rule. So they give they have the option to give Saurus warriors the buffs and get a buff by themselves, so they can gain back 1 armored height. It's a bit different. but I honestly think they are still too expensive for the cost deadline. I'm not sure. We talked about the Carnosaur right now. We love it for 379. I think it's okay, but it's a monster on foot. I could still imagine that with only +4 wounds, this is where the talk started, or where we went over to the profiles and the cost.
Yeah.
With just +4 wounds on a Carnosaur instead of +5 or +6 even. Don't get me wrong, for 170 points, you usually only get +4, +5. But I think they could use the extra wound, which the Stegodons, by the way, get. Stegodons get a wound more. In this version.
2 wound in the regular Stegodons. They went from 4 to 6.
No, Stegodons always had 5, I think.
I think the regular ones only had 4 and the ancients had 5. Now
No, it's strength. It's only strength. The strength goes up.
Oh,
but not
strength.
the-
Okay.
Yeah, the normal Stegodon has also 5 wounds.
Okay.
So to be in line with that, we had a different mechanic there. We thought that maybe you can subtract 1 for the multiple wounds rule to a minimum of 1 if you are using the Stegodons. And
Yeah, like the ogre monster.
let's
the,
go over to the Stegodon. If
horn.
we're talking the mounts and if we're taking the monsters, I mean, the Skink Priest did not change at all, I think. Let's see if the Skink Priest
I
did
think they're the
change.
same. It's just the arcane vessel.
Skink
different.
Heroes, they have also the Armored Hide 1, which is crazy because a normal Stegodon with the Skink Chief.
Sack with the stag. That's crazy. Yeah, instead of they could each just have light armor.
I mean, the stacks are super crazy anyway because the ancient stack comes
although
with
the
the
aren't
3
the
up
stags are they a 3-up armor save anyways? I don't think it actually matters on the stag.
Yeah. On the normal Stegodon only has a 4
no,
up.
the normal Stegodons are a 4, so it brings them to it.
You can play a Skink Chief on a normal Stegodon. I think that is like okay. The Skink Priest did not change at all except for the Arcane Vessel change, so that's okay. So let's go straight up to Stegodon to see what we have there. And here's a lot of purple, pink. Basically, you have 6 wounds for around 200 points, which is better than it was before. And you have a 3-up armor save on the Ancient. You have the Great Horn special rule, which now gives you impact hits. Everyone advocated for AP2. Well, gave them AP3 to be in line with the combat attacks, which is somewhat
I don't dislike
reasonable. I like it too, but this thing does a lot of damage now. A lot of damage. If you get it in, if you get a charge in, it's basically a super chariot with a 3-up armor save, with 8 wounds, with a 5-up ward save. You will always play it like that if you play it. But you can also play, and this is a thing, I rather see that in a Monster Mash list for 350-ish and not so much anymore in a Magic list because of the big change to the Arcane configuration.
Yeah, I think the other thing with the impact is you only get D3 plus 1. You know, most chariots are getting D6 plus 1, D6 plus 2. So it's higher AP, but you just get fewer hits now.
But these chariots do not have D3 plus 2 stomp attacks with AP2.
True.
This one hits now 195 points.
Well, you do have your steam tank.
Yeah, it's like a steam tank.
I think it is very much in that vein, yeah.
I mean, it's worse than a steam tank from its stats without the character on top of it. It becomes better with the character, but then it's more expensive.
I mean, you don't have a cannon, that's the big thing. Right?
And you don't have a cannon, exactly. You have like giant bow or giant blowpipes.
Your natural leadership is also very low, and their range attacks are not. Did they change the giant bow or the giant blowpipes?
Yes.
Because those were pretty bad before.
Yes,
They were
the giant bow now has through and through multiple wounds 2 instead of D3. Move and shoot. Move and shoot on the giant bow is.
That's interesting. You can march and fire and not quick. So
yeah, why not quick shot?
Still taking the hit penalty.
Exactly.
That's very odd to me. I wonder if you got those switched.
Wrong? Yeah, maybe it's wrong.
Because I think the problem, like marching and firing the giant bow, feels interesting but kind of crazy.
Honestly, the giant blowpipes,
maybe.
the blowpipes should have move and shoot. I agree about that.
Because normal blowpipes do, yeah.
But both of them
like
need
the
quick
blowpipe
shot.
especially, it's multiple. You're taking multiple shots, long range and moving. So now you're hitting on 7.
Yeah,
you're not getting
exactly.
poisoned.
It does make sense. You need quick shot there.
Yeah.
Quick shot on both and take the move and shoot away from the giant bow. Then we are talking, I think.
I think so too. Yeah, the key thing is that you're basically skill 3 on the skinks, right? You're not getting any better on the weapons than that. So I think even I think some of those like the Sky Lantern rules or the not Sky Lantern, Iron Hell Gun rule where you don't take penalties
Yeah.
for movement or things like that where it's like you're gonna hit on a 4 or a 5. You're gonna hit on a 5 like decently often. I think that's kind of where you want to be. The weapons aren't that strong. It's through and through middle wounds 2 is nice, but this is your main weapon on the equivalent of a steam tank, right? This is supposed to be replacing a cannon or something like that. So I think the weapon should be good, and the fact that hitting on a 6 or a 7 is pretty unexciting.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
I think some improvements there would be nice.
They could have also went with weapons ballistic skill 4 on them, honestly.
Yeah.
And I think I just thought in my head right now about what I said earlier with the 8 wounds and a ward save. I'm not so sold about that anymore because you lose a lot of points in character, and I think that just playing them cheap, 210 points as support pieces, the ancient ones, I don't see there much going on for the normal Stegadon over the ancient one. For 15 points you get better armor save, better weapon skill, and a strength more, and a attack attack less. But you get you get an attack less.
You lose. No, the ancient snake loses an attack.
He's old, yes. He loses initiative at attack, but he instead gets a weapon skill and an armor save.
Yeah.
And I think that's more important for a monster.
I think so, especially if you're not running the characters, so you're not getting the 3+ otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. So you can play the Stegadon still alone without a character, and then you have the option, but you don't need to play the Engine of the Gods. And the Engine of the Gods is like, it's only good for bounce spells, so you need to...
Yeah, I think this is a good point to talk about that. I don't know that I love the change. I think was the previous version of Renegade the same as German Comp, where friendly wizard within 6 get +1 to cast?
Yeah.
So now it's bound spells within 12 get 1 to cast. They up the casting value on Burner Unit Alignment to 9 because it does buff itself, so it's the same.
It's not the same, because the casting value was 8, and it has +3, and now it has +2, and it's a 9 with +3. So it's basically a nerf for the Burning Alignment. It's a nerf.
That's
and
crazy, because it wasn't that strong in the first place. It's a fireball with 50-inch range.
Yeah, the range was not good because it had no margin
to use
shoot.
that spell less often than you'd think.
And it became even worse now because the Portent of Warding is a spell that was basically copycatted from the or the idea was copycat from the casket, where you have like a defensive spell, and if you use then the Burning Alignment spell, you lose the defensive spell. But the issue is just that the Burning Alignment spell is unreliable to cast, and therefore I don't think there are a lot of situations where you just have the Portent of Warding and that's it. And then nerfing the Burning Alignment on top of that from the reliability to cast with a short range, for me, it just doesn't make sense. So
the Portent of Warding is a lot worse than...
It is also
don't get me wrong. The caster skill is busted as hell. It's so good. -1 to hit and it's a close ward for 18 inches. Obviously, this is very different. This is on a monster. It's able to walk along with your army. The casket is a stationary piece if you're not teleporting it or reserve moving it. Like, there's a lot of differences. But this is substantially weaker. It still remains in play, which I don't love either. So you can easily get it dispelled at the start of your turn. And it's easier to dispel it because the casket has the advantage of sitting back, having an 18-inch bubble, so it's easier to play around dispel range while playing forward with your army, whereas this is walking with your army. It's just going to be in 24 inches a lot more often.
I'm still not so sold because 35 points sounds ridiculous, sorry, but 35 points in rare are actually big for Lizardmen. You only have so much points in this army. I don't know if... I mean, you cast it on what? What is the power level of that? It's also 2, so 3 with the +3 cast on an 8. That's basically our Steed of Shadows there, right? The Beastman Steed of Shadows has the same +3 cast on an 8.
Yeah.
So we know it does not go off.
You're reasonably likely to get it off. The problem is you're reasonably likely to get it dispelled in your opponent's turn.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, because it remains in play.
Any wounds, it's a strong effect, but I don't know. It feels like an awkward synergy of the whole package to me.
Yeah. I do understand the idea that you want to have more synergies for it with the Bastiladons, that you have more synergy with all of your army, but instead you just separate the Stegadon out of the magic synergy bubble and you put it into the shooting range only. So we have now we have basically we have two separate things. We have the Stegadon, we have the Ruby Ring, and we do have the Bastiladon working together. And on the other hand, we do have the Slan, the Troglodon, and the Skin Priest.
What other bounce spells can you get besides the Bastiladon and Ruby Ring?
That is a big problem. There is only one spell where you can make it harder for opponents to cast spells, the new item.
Yeah, okay.
And Lizardmen don't have any native bounce spells. So, I mean, Stegadons basically, yeah. So you can play 2 big Stegadons.
Yeah, it says one or more. They don't stack with each other, so.
True, but they can do 2 bubbles, and you have then more bounce
spells.
Yeah,
you can. So I mean, it's 12 inches, so I feel like the obvious choice is this guy and 3 Bastiladons.
Yes.
You keep all
I mean, you can play then a Stegadon in characters, where you have like the Stegadon for 245. Sure. You have the Skin Priest on it on 60.
It's important to list. It's so many points, though.
Yeah, so what is it? At least 30.
210, 245, even just for the Ancient Stag with the engine, and I mean, you're trading the bow or the blowpipe. Not that they're that exciting, but you are trading out for the engine.
Yeah. I mean,
you're paying 245 for the Ancient Stag, and you're paying 175 times 3, so that's 300, 450, 525, 725.
Let's do an Excel sheet. 1 second.
770.
I'm gonna open a spreadsheet. It's easier to
I think it's 770 total.
So what we do have is basically we have a skink which is on 60. We do have the engine with the engine is 245, right? And then we have a ward save on it, which is at least 30, I guess. If we take the talisman of protection, and that we can take a itchy, we don't need, maybe not. We will need another ruby ring, most likely on still maybe a slan. So I can imagine that in this list, a slan is still good if you want to have it. 285 with the BSB for 25.
Yeah.
Because
this
else
packet
you lose
plus the slam plus the temple guard, that's your whole armor. That's all you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Take some skinks.
So
Bastiladons are 1. It's 35 points for the solar engine. So it's 1. They're 175 each.
What do we take on a slan there? We take still the +1 to cast one.
Yeah. So battle standard. Maybe just keep them cheap and just do that.
I had a battle standard in there. Do we take the 1 to cast and we take the signature, so we get more missiles out of that.
Sure.
The ruby ring we have most likely itchy. Itchy, no, it's whatever. How much is that? There's 485 on the slan. So 485. Then we have on the 335 on the skink. We have 180 left in characters, which means in this list most likely you will
probably taking a couple of cheap skink priests. Or you're taking 1.
Why?
Right, for the
Why? They don't get blast to cast.
Yeah, so what do they do? I mean, I guess it for the slan I like having 1 if you're taking him just for
maybe,
the
maybe 1, yeah.
I think you probably need the 1.
Okay. You have then one guy. I think you can take him naked. Maybe you can, because you're.
I think they're fine with nothing else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Roll illusion, run them with a temple guard. Maybe swap them on student.
So then around your other stuff, you have the Bastiladon, which is 175, right? You take 3 of them, of course, if you want that list.
Yeah.
So you have core. I just write down 500 for core. You take the temple guard trick and something else.
It's probably like 400 temple guard.
And then you have 95 points left. Just 95 points. So you take some skinks, more skinks. Maybe in characters you have some points. You can take
you take a salamander.
Or 1 salamander, and maybe
it's probably just more skinks though. Honestly, you just need chaff to score.
Just some stuff. You have something to play around. Maybe 3 pterodons. Pterodons are cool as well. Maybe 3 pterodons to kill a baggage train or something like that. And the thing is, I'm just not sold that 3 Bastiladons and 1 engine and this slan are good enough.
I agree. I mean, the solar engine spell is powerful. Don't get me wrong. It's 3d3 strength 5 AP2 flaming. It's got a 24-inch range. It's a hell of an effect. The problem is, that's it. They're basically cannons, right? That are harder to kill in melee because they do fight back. They do have 3+ armor. They're only 4 wounds, strength 4 plus 5, so they don't fight back that hard.
They have strength 7 on combat, and they do
for
multiple wounds
one
3.
of their attacks, right? Or no, for all of their attacks.
For
Plus
all
3.
of their attack. We had one of the attacks,
Oh.
and now it's all of the
Okay,
attacks.
okay,
So
okay.
they're pretty competent in combat now. They have weapon skill 3 still
Okay,
just,
so
but they have
3
skin fighters.
attacks but at strength 7, AP 3, D3 wound. Wow. Okay. So
That is
and 3 plus
something.
armor. So they are pretty tanky boys.
Yeah, yeah.
That
They,
is not.
they still
not
have the
nothing.
impervious defense. You do not get bonus for flank or rear arc,
Or
which
rear. Yeah.
is. But the Arc of Sotek has changed. Interestingly enough, they also changed it to shooting phase, and
Yeah.
so you have.
I think D6 inch range is the killing point for me, though.
Yeah, not only that. I mean, D6 in shooting range doesn't make sense. In combat, it would be way better with a blazing body effect. So you have a takey one with the buffs to the combat, and
Yes.
then it's okay. But if you have already the beam of Jotek, you will always want to synergize with the engine of the gods, and then you want to go shooting. There is just no world where you want the Arc of Sotek.
No, I agree. If you're taking Bastiladons, you're because you're investing in a magic missile build.
Yeah.
I also note that he gave it the 2 to 6 hits poison attacks because their hits not. We'd make a quick note there.
Yeah,
Like, it doesn't actually do anything.
Exactly. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. But I think that we had with the Arc of Sotek something unique there. I want to show this just. We said Arc of Sotek in each combat phase it does the hits during the step 1.1 before issuing challenges. That was pretty sick. And also Spawn of Sotek, the jungle one, is just so bad. On a 4-up, a jungle swarm regains D3 lost wounds. What is that? Honestly, that is just a non-ability.
Yeah.
We
You're not taking
gave
that one
him
stuff anyway.
within 6 inches the blessed Spawn of Sotek, which was +1 weapon skill and furious charge. And this would be red. I would love to see this implementation still, because then maybe we're talking, if we tweak that back to combat phase, and we add some real buff for the combat one, as we already buffed the Thunderous Bludgeon here, then it can have a second role. You can actually play them as a support piece in the army. We are again talking about synergies here.
Yeah, this was really fun to build around synergy, because you could take one sacred spelling on your stars, and then you could take this. So you could get them up to weapon skill 5, you could layer it with some other buffs. It had the obvious downside of making everything around it impetuous. Like, it wasn't free,
Yeah.
but it was a really cool way to be like, okay, you can kind of see the vision of, like, I want to run, like, 2 or 3 units of 20 Saurus. I want to give them all, like, weapon skill 5 or some bullshit. I want to run them up there with some characters in there.
One second, before we continue that, just very short, I want to show you guys Sacred Spawnings was a hero ability, hero special rule of Saurus heroes, that you can have Sacred Spawning on the Saurus hero for free, and then you need to, or you are allowed to have on the same god Saurus warrior unit, right, or a cavalry unit. And these were the blessed spawnings. Quetzal gave armored height 1 and magic resistance 1. Sotek gets furious charge, improves weapon skill by 1. In addition, the unit has impetus, as you said. Tipok, MR2 magic attacks. 1G treats woods as open terrain. Chotek, +1 movement. Tzotl, immune to psychology and stubborn. And Tsunki gives weapon skill and initiative. So you could take Tsunki and add Sotek.
Right?
Sorry? And aquatic, yes, correct.
Right?
And aquatic, yeah. So you could couple Tsunki and you can, with the Sotek from the Arc, and you get your Source Warriors to weapon skill 5, but it's infantry only as well. So to get that, you need also a Saurus hero on foot. Yeah, and suddenly we have synergy. Suddenly we have a Saurus hero on foot to give the Saurus infantry the mark, the blessed spawning, and then you add the Bastiladon, and suddenly you have a new type of synergy for combat with normal Saurus warriors.
And it was really fun to kind of mess around with that and figure out how you wanted to run it and how you wanted to build the list, and we really had a good time, kind of like.
And this is a thing right now where the Saurus heroes are kind of bland, and the warriors. And let's I think we went over almost all monsters. Come back to the Troglodon again. For the Saurus warriors, they're just bad. They're just in a bad spot. They're 12 points. What for?
They're heavy infantry or medium infantry or whatever. They don't have. There's so few medium infantry in the game that work, and when they do, it's usually by being a Death Star. and
or very point efficient. If they're very point efficient, if you can get a lot of
or you can heal them.
Yeah.
So it really needed something particular to have a particular purpose for the list, and Sarge never did. And this really gave you a lot of like, okay, you could have some synergy. They could be very cost efficient. Like they still weren't amazing. They were still movement 4. They weren't like doing anything super busted, but there was a lot of neat synergies that you could figure out and build around as a way to have
what is big here? What is big here is Drilled, right? Drilled is pretty big.
Yeah, can you have this on the regular Saurus here? Not
Yes,
just the
as
Temple
well.
Guard?
Yeah, on both of them.
Okay.
You can take it on both of them, but it's another rule that basically it's one of these rules where you acknowledge that the limits of the game system are so bad that the unit becomes very bad by design, and then you basically change the basic rules for that unit to make that unit somewhat viable. And I think personally that Drilled should be reserved for very, very disciplined and drilled troops, which Saurus Warriors maybe are. They're like cold-blooded with a cold logic and all that. Maybe they are that, but I don't know. I think it makes sense.
For me, it makes sense if they're literally are drilled. Like, they're...
Yes.
Like, they conduct drills. Like, dwarves, elves are really the classic drilled units, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know exactly what I should think of that. I would love to see a spawn leader being able to take more of 25 points. I do know most infantry units can only take 25 points, and Lancers basically ruined the game for everyone here, or opened up something, because I think even the worst unit can be good if it can take a magic item. Like, be it a Ruby Ring, be it the shield, be it MR2, magic attacks. These are just big things, and I would love if the spawn leader is capable of that. What did we have?
Even just one unit per army, even something like that.
Yeah,
I know some...
we are again at the blessed stuff. Yeah, so maybe one special guy, one special champion, something like that. So we had Saurus Warriors at 11 points, with the blessed spawning of +1 point. But to be fair, the blessed spawnings are pretty strong. So that is another point reduction, basically.
Yeah. So you're paying for it, but it was always worth it.
Yeah, giving one of that. So it's a point reduction, basically. It's 12 points, and you trade off the how it's called, the predatory fighter. You trade that one off for the blessing, but to be honest, Drilled might also make up for that. Drilled is like super strong, and then we had 35 points point allowance. Okay, this is obviously a mistake. Should be 6 here as well, but Drilled makes maybe up for that. We have 35 points here. Yeah, I think the main issue here is that you do not have the Bastiladon buff. You get the Troglodon buff because Primeval War was changed, and let's see that one.
Okay, I don't know if I read that one. Yeah.
Troglodon. Troglodon is down to 140 points, and it has Armored Height 3, so it has a 4-up armor save now instead of a 3-up armor save, which is, in my opinion, big. It's very big. 140 points, better armor save. You get the Skink Rider, so you only hit on a 3. You can have a level 2 wizard on that. I don't think that is good because you can only take illusion and battle magic, so you can aim for getting Oaken Shield there, maybe, but you can take magic items, and that is big. Magic items here on a Troglodon is okay, so it's another thing.
Yeah, it's moved up to 8 too. I think there were 7 before, right?
Yeah, but I also had the idea of just running 2 Troglodons because it's so point efficient now. It still has the Venom Spray, it has Venomous Talons, there are strength 5, AP2, poisoned attacks, Primeval Roar, you do a leadership test, again with Cold-Blooded, and all models with a Predatory Fighter special rule, this is including the Carnosaur, within 8 of this model, explode on a 5 or on a 6.
That's pretty significant for your go turn, yeah.
Yeah, and if you have 2 Troglodons and 3 Carnosaurs, because this was another list I was writing, basically you can have 2 Troglodons just bare naked, and then you add a Stegodon to that list, just for the Ancient Stegodon, just for the 210, right?
Sure.
That is together 490 in the rare department. Then you put 1000 characters in however you want to do it. There's a lot of stuff you can do. And then you have, and this is also an issue with the skink cohort, you can just spam units of 10 skinks as well. And then you have 500 points of skinks. So that was a list I already wrote today, which is, I think, pretty nice. So Ancient Stegodon, 2 Troglodons with this ability to make the Carnosaurs explode in 5s. So you have that 2 times in the game, 3 Carnosaurs. The Troglodons can do the dispel work for the army. Yeah. That is a pretty simple list, but I like it as well.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think I hadn't really thought about doing the Troglodon list. I've mostly dismissed them in the past. They're just kind of like an awkward grouping of stats. Because they're not that exciting in melee.
They're not bad. They're basically...
But at 140,
yeah,
maybe that's a sweet spot.
I had them 160, and they have also Arcane Vessel, right? So I had them in the Slun list.
Oh, they have Arcane Vessel,
yes,
and they're not character points. Yeah.
Yes. So I just used them in the Slan list to have more Arcane Vessels in there with 24, and they're very fast. So even there, they work pretty good. So they're very hard to play. And
Sure.
against cannons or something like that, they're just rubbish. Yeah. So if you play very competitive, they're bad. But just because their troop type is basically bad.
That's not really. Yeah.
Now they can take a ward. I don't think they should be able to take a ward, because then you did not maximize your character builds, but you can just take 2 of them for 280. That's just fair if you have stuff that synergizes with Battery Fighter. So I think that's cool. And the list looks awkward. You wrote like it looks boring to play or against. I don't know. No, that was the stance we had.
Something like that.
But it is the dinosaur list. You have a Stegodon, you have 2 Troglodons, you have 3 Carnosaurs. That is the fucking dinosaur list. That's doable. And you can even play if you feel like it. I mean, it's not as good as just spamming poisoned javelins and short bows in core. You can also play Croxigores in the cohort in core.
Yeah.
And for even more big bullies. I don't think that is really good, but I think it's a fun concept there. I rate this list.
Cohorts.
Yeah, I rate this list better.
I don't think we talked about that too much.
Yeah, I rate this list better as the bounce spell list.
Yeah, I agree. I think the bounce spell list is just very all in on that and doesn't have just enough bodies.
Yeah, that's the issue. Okay, 2 times I wrote just 500 points of cores, and we just talked about the cohort now. So let's look at the cohort. And after that, let's go to the mobile elements. The cohort, where is it? There it is. Cohort. Yeah, it has toughness 2. That's super bad.
Correct. Yeah.
The skinks have a 6-up arm save. They have just hand weapons, but they can get javelins and shields, giving them.
That's always the option with this unit in particular, right? Because you're a ranked unit, you want the shields. 4 plus armor in melee is pretty legit for even with toughness 2.
I don't know. The thing is, short bows have poison attacks.
I guess you could volley fire them?
Yes, exactly. You just can bring 10 to 11 skinks in close order.
Can you take short bows on the skirmishers?
No.
Okay.
No, but on the cohort. So you play just
right. No, I get it.
10 or 11 of the skin cohort.
I mean, 5 points for a poison short bow is not nothing.
Yeah,
That's
but
interesting.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd play 11 with the musician. So they can flee, they can rally then on the 6 with 3 dices. Again, 68% of rallying chance. Yeah, if you don't even have the slan, you don't need that necessarily. Maybe you can add the skink brave to that unit, but you don't have to. So it's 60 points for 11 guys with poisoned short bows and a champion that just fill up your core. I don't care. I don't care about 49 points Croxigores at all. I know people think it's cool, but honestly, this is just another skink unit that spams you.
I think that's really what it is. Yeah, it's these are the Glade Guard to go along with your Deepwood Scout, so to speak.
Yes, exactly.
It just turns out that 5-point models with poison range attacks and movement 6 are pretty good. They can score objectives and things like that. You don't really care if they die.
It's a bit sad because we basically abused the skin cohort for that. Let's just go through the spawnkin rule. So the Croxigores, they are deployed in a second rank, as close to the center of the rank as possible. If there's not enough room in the second rank, any remaining models are in the ranks behind. So that's a bit weird, because Croxigores can do the ranks alone or not, because if at any time there are not enough models in the unit to form a second rank, the Croxigores must immediately join the front rank. But this will happen it depends on the width. Yeah, it depends on the width. If they go to
weird with the command too.
Yeah. It is very weird with this mechanic. This is why I had them a bit different, but yeah, it's. I think it needs some clarification, some testing games to see what fits and does not fit, but I get the idea per se. That is okay. They're shot like characters in units. They have the same troop type, so that is fine. The base contact clarification is also fine. They can have impact hits and stomp attacks directed against them. They don't have motley crew, which is important. So we don't mess with the wounds inflicted. It's just separate. It's totally separate. You can just kill the Croxigores in the unit in combat, or you don't. You can farm the combat res. And this is what makes the unit, in my opinion, more or less a little bit of a liability. Because models that cannot kill the Croxigores can still win combat against them by killing the small guys. And models that kill the Croxigores will just run over the unit.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're expensive per model, and the thing is they still don't actually do. Like, they still have the monster infantry problem. They're less vulnerable to shooting, because I think they can't be shot at all in this, right?
Shot at all? But I think if you do enough hits, you hit them.
I think you just hit the. It's like characters. You have to get them down to 5 models.
True. Yeah. Agree. So it protects them from shooting.
Right, compared to the German conversion. But at the same point, like, the Croxigores are still, 3 attacks with the Great Weapon?
They are still 3, yeah. Let's check Croxigores. Let's check out Croxigores, yeah.
They're not, they just...
3 attacks, weapon skill 3. I mean, they have strength 8, okay, 7, that's cool. They have the full blade, they get the full blade here. They get the predatory fighters, which is super important. So you want the predatory fighters and the primeval roar here again, if you want to do this. So it fits actually in that list. In the Drocodon list, you can play them maybe, because they get some good output there. They have unit size 3 up. I think the biggest thing we did for them was changing the unit size to 1.
Yeah, changing the size to 1 and also...
making them cheap. So you have a 50-point ancient. 50-point ancient with a 4-up armor save with MR1. That is great, chef.
Yeah, you can kind of do the Dragon Ogre thing.
Yeah, exactly. That is how the unit works. And with the current rules, the current points, I mean, it's a cool unit if you want to play it, the skin cohorts. That is fine.
Sure.
If people want to delve into this, they can do it now. I love that for these people. That's pretty great. But it totally kills the Saurus warriors. They were already planned. They already had not enough synergies to be played. And now you just spam more core archers. Like Bretonia does, like any faction does that does not have good core. So in any list that does not bring the Temple Guard...
There's not a lot of reason to take something else.
Yeah. In any list that does not bring the Temple Guard, you will bring these guys. And another issue I have with the skins going up to 6 points, the skirmishers, I mean, that's reasonable, huh? I think that's okay.
I think that's fine. I think they're definitely one of the best units.
That's fine. But at the same time, you then just take 500 points, as close as possible to 500 points of the Temple Guard. You know?
Yeah.
Or you don't care at all because you just spam 6 or 7 units of skins in the core. So I don't necessarily like all of that, but it is what it is. I think it's okay. It makes the core better. The core was very bad, so we have now better core with a skin core with short bows. I think that's fine. That's okay. It goes into the boring meta direction we have already.
Yeah. I don't think it's bad necessarily. It's just not as interesting as I like to be. That's all.
Yeah, agree. Okay, chameleon skins, by the way. I just think when we look at these lists, where we have already 490 points by a stack of 2 Troglodons, where we have the 3 Bastillodons. I don't see... what is the build where you take them? What is the idea?
This is true in any Lizardmen list, like now or previously or whatever. They've always had that, when do you take this unit issue?
I mean, you can maybe
for chameleons.
You can use a evasion list if you want to go full evasion, and maybe if you play without the comp, you could take a double slan. Maybe you could do double slan, as the slan is still protected by lone character next to a unit of skinks, right?
Sure.
So you could take double slan. You could play 1 Troglodon only, and then you could play the 500 points of skinks, and then you could play chameleon skinks and maybe some of the Resodon, something like that. So maybe there. But even then, I think with the changes to the flyers we saw, the flyers are the better chaff for the better mobile troops.
Yeah, I think it does kind of come back to that whenever you look at it. It's just like a lot of awkward middle ground where it's like there's some cool units and there's just never really a good reason to run them compared to the other more obvious choices.
It's about synergies. It's about synergies again. Chameleon skins do not have any synergy.
Yeah, I agree. They're an evasion piece in a list that isn't really that interested in invasion, just kind of in general.
It would be super annoying if they can serve for the skirmish screen of Croxigors and you can play single Croxigors.
Yes, you can really do something with that.
That could be fun, maybe.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Or you give them some role, like... I mean, they have now ambushers, so they are your baggage train takers. That is their role, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. Before they could only scout, now they can ambush. That's a nice...
So maybe in that one list where we have 95 points left, in the shooting list, where we have 95 points left, I would actually just play 5 of them. I think that's a solid choice.
I don't hate that. Because what else in the Lizardmen army can ambush? There's not much, right?
Yeah. So they have their role. It's a shooting, it's an evasion list, so you can play them there. I think that's good. That's okay.
Yeah,
you don't have enough points. You don't have enough points for the flyer units, so you take them. And maybe that is the reason. Oh, by the way, they got Chameleon for everyone, -1 to hit, with Skirmisher, -2, in cover, -3. So that's solid. Sadly, no magic resistance. They will die to 1 fireball.
Yeah, they're still tough as 2. I mean, they don't have shields like the regular skinks do. So
yeah.
You're still in that kind of.
Flyers. Oh, by the way, we talked about Sorcerers in the core. Temple Guard got drilled. Temple Guard got Armored Hide 2 and Light Armor. This means they have Light Armor is 6, Armored Hide 2 is 4 up, so with shields they go to a 3 up, with or without parry, it doesn't matter. But if they use halberds, they still have a 4 up.
So I think the halberd change for them is really interesting. It gives you it's a reason to go for that you didn't really have before.
Yeah.
So that was what I was finding in the German composite. They have the halberd, but you never actually use the halberd because you just want to do hand up and a shield.
Yeah.
That's.
I do agree. I think Light Armor and Armored Hide 2 makes totally sense for them. I love that. It's a great change. They have drilled on them. Drilled is also super cool. It's also extremely awkward with a slam, but whatever. I think it's good. It's very good. The issue is just for the Temple Guard, if you want to play them, and I think in this one here we played it with a Temple Guard here in that one list here I show here in the stream, so you can't see that. So let's see, we have Champion, our full command, which is already 21 points. We have Drilled, which is 1 point per model. We have most likely the Sun Banner, which is 65, and we will take either the Spell Eater X or we will take the Whatnot, so some anti-magic item. If we take the 35 point item, we will take the Charm Shield, also take the other one for 40. So we are set on 40 points here for the Champion. This means we already have 126 points for them. And I think you need at least 24 to make the unit work.
Yeah, that does sound about right.
So you have 24 Temple Guards. They are 15 points each, which is 360 just for them. Drilled is then 24 more. So we are here already too high. We are already at 510. So you can at maximum have 23 Temple Guards, which will then go to...
That's borderline. I was running 30, and that felt like a good number to me. They were just 30, yes. They had the Fear Banner, and that was like, not too crazy, but like pretty solid.
Yeah, exactly. And now, I mean, the unit is crazy good. Yeah, you have all that -1 to hit.
Yeah, you have a ton of synergies.
You have a ton of synergies there, but it's 494 points for just 23 Temple Guards. This means in the list we wrote down there, you might even cut the single skink guy just to get some chef in. So you only have the 3 Bastiladons, you have 1 skink on an ancient, you have a slan, you have 23 Temple Guards, or maybe even 20 Temple Guards, and this feels really awkward. You don't even have the MHT there. You cannot get the MHT in. You would have to sacrifice a Itchy Grub for that. It's okay, most likely you have to do it.
Yeah, and unlike like the dwarf unit where, Longbeard, you might have a similarly low number of models in an elite infantry unit like that, but in that case you got the better Gruntney, which is just such a massive deal.
But even with that, it's just a bad unit, and it's not a build that is viable.
Yeah.
In German comp, the Longbeards are only viable because of free command and free shields, and because they're significantly cheaper there. And here you don't have that. So the 15 points naked for the Temple Guard is too expensive. They need to go 1 point down, basically. At least 1 point down.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Yeah, so in this case, I would add 5 Chameleons to that list, maybe, for 55, and maybe delete this skink here. Then we only have 1 for the slan. Wow, that's really horrible. So what do we have in the list? We already have, we have just 45 points left. Yeah, it's not that great. It's honestly not that great. I think you need
so fast.
Yeah, you need the MHT there. You need to cut a single skink, and you have then exactly 100 points. So you have to think if you want to bring like 2 units of skinks and maybe sacrifice 1 single Temple Guard guy, because 10 skinks are 60 now, right? And this is what I meant. This is where it becomes awkward with the 60 points. It's not for the unit per se, it's for the rest. It's for the rest of the army list. And still the Temple Guard is overcosted. The Bastiladons are slightly overcosted. Everything is just slightly overcosted. And making the 1 point efficient unit more expensive for that is just very, very difficult to build the army list then.
Yeah, everything just ends up feeling... like, and a lot of the magic items are like a little bit too expensive. You're just getting nickel and dimed constantly, and it is hard to build around, in my opinion.
Yeah. So you would need to cut the Temple Guard indeed to 20. You need to cut them to 20 to be able to sport 2 times 10 skinks in core, or you could just take away 2 of them, or 1 of them. There's 16 points. That's 32 points, and then I don't love all of that.
Yeah, it's just I feel like you're losing something necessary for the list to work every time you pull something else out. Like you just end up, you're too elite, you're too vulnerable to shooting, and even then the slan break just runs into the problem that we were talking about before. Is like, what is it actually killing? Like, it's not mobile, doesn't have big range pressure, so it's the center for your army, but because it costs so much, you don't have a lot center around.
That's what I said. Yeah, I agree completely with you. It's so expensive. The slan and the Temple Guard, they're still not that good. They don't have the bodies for that. They don't have all the abilities you need, like sappers do, right? Or the Gors do have. So I don't know, honestly, if that is playable, because it's too much of an invest. And the other list also only has a few number of threats, but it's way more flexible to play because of all the skirmishers in core. You have more units, you can out-deploy your opponent, you have very fast units with the Troglodyons. I think that's maybe better. But let's look at the last unit types we did not check out, and those are basically the swarms have not changed. By the way, they're still super solid. I like the jungle swarms. They're not that bad, but they're also not that great. You can also play just them, like a unit of 3 of them to fill core is also viable. But I think using 3x10 short bows is better. They can score.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think add enough. The army's not really missing what they offer to it.
Yeah, true.
In my opinion, they're not bad, but I don't think they. Again, it's kind of a synergy thing.
Okay, so what we do have here is salamander packs and Razordon packs. The salamanders got a ton of love. First off,
yeah, this is interesting to me because the salamanders are very exciting to play now, and the Razordons are very unexciting to play. Simple as that, right?
Salamanders get full plate armor, and the big thing is they get reserve move and AP2 on the fairy breath. Like, they have a strength 4 AP2 flamethrower, high strength, high AP.
Yeah, and reserve move is so good.
And reserve move. I mean, the column of fire is not exactly super strong.
It's not, but
steam guns are. But in this case, you can go 12 inches. You use then the column of fire, and then you go with reserve move. No, you cannot march, right?
No, you can't march. It's move 6, fire
then
move
it's okay.
6.
Then it's okay.
The other thing is they have full plate now. So they are extremely durable.
Yes, they are. And there's still unit strength 1 skirmishes.
So might want to be hit with shooting. They're still really solid. They got AP2 combat, so they're still pretty solid there.
Yeah, 3 wounds, toughness 4, full plate, 2 attack strength 5, AP2. They're good for 65 points. I like them. We had them placed in a similar spot. What did we do with the salamanders?
I think they don't have a reserve move. They can march fire.
We gave them the option. By the way, this is cool. This is what I'm missing. It is for 5 points. The Beast of Jotek is it called in Age of Sigmar. So some more flavor for them. But yeah, we gave it a 6-inch range. The column of fire.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, of course.
That is similar, but we didn't have the move and shoot there.
Yeah, the salamanders don't have move and shoot. Is that what it was?
So basically, instead of move and shoot, you get 6 inches on the Fury Breath, and then you can't reserve move out. So the reserve move is added here. The remaining stuff is very similar. I think it's okay. We had 60, 65. That's okay for the buffs they got with the full plate armor. It's okay for 65. What I do think is also very difficult to balance are the Razordons. They have the grape shot here. Needs 1 nailed, I think, is the rule of the grape shot.
Yeah, their strength 3 here is the big change.
And that is the change that kills them. I mean, they do auto hits. I do understand that. And now they do just.
Oh, they do auto hits. Okay.
Needs 1 nails. I think. Let me check. Needs 1 nails is.
Yeah, because that's just grape shot, right?
Yeah, that's grape shot.
I didn't realize that. That's kind of a big deal.
It's auto hits, but I think with quick shot. So why do we have quick shot there? You just can do the standard shoot reaction then.
Anyway, yeah, you stand and shoot with a grape shot. The auto hits is very interesting.
That is big. That is really big, and I think that was the reason to put it to strength 3. I think I would have loved strength 4 and needing to hit more. Like we did multi-barrel, but 1 artillery dice. Like the Rattling gun, maybe, or Rattling gun only has 1 dice or 2 dices. I don't know.
They're 1 die roll to hit, strength 4 AP1. I think that's what they are in German comp right now.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that I don't know if it works better. I can imagine that needs 1 nails is the better rule to use, or it's easier to use. It maybe is a bit stronger, but I really feel you want the strength 4 on them for shooting.
I agree. So they've been one of the parts of the list I think is the strongest. The current German comp version I think also has 18. I don't know if this has 18 inches or not.
Let's see. It has 18 inches. It has move and shoot. That was maybe too much. Move and shoot and 80 inches is too much.
I think that was my take, basically, that both of those I think individually could be fine, but I think the combination is a bit too good.
Yes. So I agree on the 12-inch. I fully agree on the 12-inch. The only thing is strength 4 and multi-barreled against strength 3 and grape shot auto hits. It's fine. I think it's fine. It's okay. It's an okay thing to do. What I do not necessarily like here are the 75 points.
They're very expensive, yeah, especially, and they feel. Yeah, the other thing that we talked about, I don't know if we added it, was what's it called? Giving them the extended formation, because when you have the skinks as actual models in the unit, then you can kind of weave them between the salamanders, and it feels fine. When you don't have that there, having the two 50 by 75 bases, and they have to stay within 1 and 2 each other is very clunky.
Yeah.
I think that's not a huge deal. It's not necessary.
This is why I gave them the dispersed formation from the Pegasus Knights. So it's 2 inches.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's just a nice quality of life thing for them. It makes them feel a little bit less clunky to maneuver.
Yeah. I also think that is a thing you could add here. If you want to play them like this with the monster handlers, you could take the dispersed formation, and I think they're fine with the strength 3 and the needs more nails, but needs more nails and quick shot is really dirty. And
yeah, I agree. I think they'd be just fine with. I think the roll they hit is a reasonable part of the balance on them. Honestly, I think I'd prefer to keep that in general.
Yeah.
The strength 4.
But we also gave them ballistic skill 4, and in this version they have ballistic skill 3. I don't know who changed it. Maybe we changed it.
It doesn't really matter in this version.
Yeah, in this version it doesn't matter. That's correct. Yeah, but if you take this version with just strength 3, reduce them to 60 points or 50 points even. I had them time-wise. I had them on 50 points with the normal hits, with the normal hit rule, and they were not too good. So 75 here is definitely overcosted.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay, cavalry units, and then we're done. Cold One Riders, 34 points, same as before. Unit size 4 plus. Why? I don't get it, but whatever. It just makes them a bit cheaper. Maybe this is... I have no clue why that is a thing. But there's surely a reason for that. Then we have the Cavalry Spears already baked in. This saves a point or two, I think. They have Armored Height 3, so we change the Heavy Armor to Armored Height. That is fine. They have shields, all good. Let's just check the unit in the basic book. There they are 1 point for shields. Yeah, okay. So you just have them 1 point cheaper. But you have light armor for 4 points higher. This means you basically can get them to a 2-up armor save. The one thing the Dark Elves had over them is gone. They also have a 2-up armor save now. But this adds up with drilled to 40 points per model. And I think this is the reason for the unit size of 4-up. So you can stay below 200 points if you just take a unit of them.
Sure, yeah. That's interesting.
I also think that predatory fighters would have worked on the Cold One as well.
If it works on the Carnosaur, I don't know why it wouldn't work on the Cold One. It's kind of my thought.
Yeah.
But maybe it's because they want Cold One. I mean, they don't have it on the Dark Elf one. It's the same unit, right?
Sure.
Like, it would be weird if you gave Dark Elf Harpies.
But hey, this is Renegades. You can't just give predatory fighters to the Cold Ones of the Dark Elves.
Yeah, I mean...
You could just do that.
Armored Height 3 is crazy, though. That's you never see that rule in.
Yeah, but they don't have armor save. They don't have armor save.
No, they don't have armor naturally. So that means they have a 3-up normally, and they can pay for a 2-up.
Yeah, the 4-up normally with shields, 3-up, and then they pay for 2-up. Yes.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Can they have anything other than shields? I mean, they don't have any other armor, any other options, right? They
have take light armor as option.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So they're because of the shields, they're a basic 3.
Yes.
Because they can't take great weapons or something like that. So
I don't know. I think we already we talked about the builds you have, and we talked about the restrictions and the problems on the builds you have. And if you have now a unit which you want to play with 5 guys or 6 guys or 7 guys normally, especially if you have drilled, because in 4 guys you cannot go too wide and have the marching column. So normally you want to have 6 guys, and 6 Cold War Knights are like 6 times 34. Sorry.
Oh, with all the upgrades, 240.
204 points. You have the light armor on them for 24 points. You take drilled on them for 12 points already. So as you say, it's 240 points. And then you don't have command. You add command to that, that's another 21. Stupid command cost in non-German comp, to be honest.
261, yeah.
It's 261 for that unit for 6 guys.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, they don't do a 261 points worth of damage.
No.
They have stupidity. Start with that. Unlike they
have cold-blooded. They have cold-blooded leadership 8.
They have cold-blooded, so it is probably better than the leadership.
What is leadership
9.
8 cold-blooded? How much percentage?
It's similar to being leadership 10.
I guess it's a
It's
chance
like slightly worse than 10.
89%. It's 89 to pass.
Yeah. So that's not bad, I guess.
But 89 also means they're a stupid one round per game.
Yeah.
If not in combat.
Right. So their movements. I mean, compare them to the other heavy cav out there class, right? So their movement 7, so they're a little bit slower than normal. I mean, I guess different from the Dark Elf ones, right? Weapon skill 4, it's not too bad. A lot of times these are weapon skill 5. They've got 2 attacks per rider. That's pretty solid, but still.
I think they're close to Chosen Knights of Chaos. Chosen Knights of Chaos have strength 4 mounts. They have the same amount of attacks. They have even, I mean, they have weapon skill 5, but
their mounts don't have 2 attacks.
Yeah,
each.
but they have weapon skill 5 and lances. I think
weapon skill 5, and they have a 6+ ward.
That's
and they have
similar.
Marks.
And
the marks are not significant here.
Yeah. So if you take drilled on top of them, if you take the lances, and if you take full command, and 6 Chosen Knights are 280. 280 for a 6 ward save, versus 261 for the guys.
The lance is pretty big deal too. That's compared to your strength 6 AP.
In addition, they have first charge. They don't have first charge. The fucking Cold Providers don't have first charge. They have stupidity.
Yeah.
On top of that, they have stupidity. They don't have the ward save there. They don't have the stubborn. They don't have the magic attacks.
Even just undivided is pretty good. Oh, they have cold-blooded, but still, yeah. Magic attacks also a really big deal. Yeah.
But it's horrible. It's 5 downsides. They only have weapon skill 4, of course. Therefore they have the attack more. They have predatory fighters, so maybe you can swing that a little bit. But overall, they're in a horrible state.
And I think, unlike Chosen Knights, you might want to try and make a bust out of them with characters. Making a character bust that comes with stupidity sucks.
Yeah.
You don't want to invest that many points into a unit that might not charge or move when you need it to.
Exactly. And the Chosen Knights with weapon skill 5, with leadership 9 on themselves, I mean, good, okay, cold-blooded, but I always think they can also damage like a monster with the lances. Strength 6, AP 2.
6 on the charge is a really big deal.
With the counter charge, and they don't have it. They just have the strength 5. So it's a weight class below. But point-wise, it's the same. It's 261 against 270 or something like that. It's the same point per model class as the Chosen Chaos Knights, but they punch way worse. So I guess this is the reason for the unit size, because the Chosen Chaos Knights also have the unit size of 4 up, so we found something there.
I don't think it's unreasonable to have that.
It's not unreasonable, but even 3+, like in the Bretonians, could be interesting.
Yeah, I don't
they're
disagree.
just way too expensive. And if we compare, Chosen Chaos Knights are not played because they're too expensive, right? We don't see them. We see Wolves of the Sea. We don't see Chosen Knights because they're too expensive. Could change with Shock Troop special rule in the FHQ, depending on how good it will be. But without that one, just in the current state of affairs, honestly, they should cost maximum 240, which would be free command, or around even free command or free light armor, basically.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, in general, heavy cav are in a spot right now, same as heavy infantry, right? And being expensive. In the shooting meta, there aren't enough stuff that they want to fight. But I think it would be pretty safe to drop these guys to 32 points per model, and they still wouldn't be like dominating anything, but they'd feel a little bit more reasonable.
If you want to make them good, And
even 31.
If you want to make them good in a sense of they see a play or a unit like this, if you take a unit like this, we talk a lot about synergies. We talked about different build styles and all that. If you take a unit like that, it has to be good enough on its own to make a build around it. As you said, you need the bus. Yeah? And it's not in core. You don't see the Night Bus with the Chosen Knights. You see the Night Bus with the Core Knights because they're in core, so you have more points to kit it out to support the bus. That is key for synergies. And we don't have that here. We only have shitty skinks in core, which do not support them. If we take the Slan, we cannot support the bus. We will need the Temple Guard. It's horrible. What we could do is bring a lot of small units of drilled Souls Warriors, but they lack the synergy again, so we also need the Troglodons.
Thing is that a lot of times these heavy cap units synergize with a dragon because there's something they can challenge out, and it's a lot harder to coordinate a flying monster than a non-flying one. You don't have flying monsters in Lizardmen. So a dragon is a lot easier to coordinate a charge with compared to a Carnosaur.
So we don't have the right support pieces there. If you want to go full aggressive with maybe Ripidactyls, with Cultural Riders, very fast list, very aggressive list, which could be cool. Maybe Troglodon for the predatory fighters as well. We pretty much run out of points pretty fast. So if we take...
I think the biggest challenge they're running in that is you can't take any of this fast stuff in cores. Obviously, it's Skinks or Saurus, right?
Yeah. You need a one core unit, basically, that fits to that. And if you don't have that, if you don't have the synergy with the core here, and you don't get somehow a unit of Cauldron Riders into core if your general is on a cold one, which is, I think, a pretty nice idea to have to allow that build.
Great. Yeah, because they're not really that elite. I mean, they're just Saurus on weapon skill 4 Saurus. They're not as elite as Temple Guard. They're like they're only half a special unit, just flavor wise, anyway. So
what I want to say is, if you don't have all that, and let's see that is a given, as most people will not play with the German comp rules, and we don't even have that in German comp right now. They need to be so point efficient that they're standalone a threat. And for that, I think, as a special unit, not a core unit, they need to go below 30. They need to go on 29, maybe even 28. And then we can talk. If they are like 6 points cheaper, that's 36 here left, so that's 168. And then we have 6 guys for 225. And that is reasonable.
Yeah, if you're looking to make them competitive, I think if you're looking to hedge your bets and not push it too far, I guess it depends on what you're looking to do with the book here, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to make them feel? Do you want to make it so that if you already want to run them, they don't feel bad to play? I think 30 is probably a good point for that. But I agree.
Maybe,
I think you're pushing
maybe.
29, 28. If you want them to feel like a reasonable competitive choice, to take a small unit of them.
Exactly. The thing is, they need a spot. They need to be a shock cavalry that is point efficient, that you can just throw in the blender, where you can just have some threat with them, play around with them.
Yeah.
And if they are above 200 points by a big margin, there is no spot for them in the army. There is no space for them. You don't have space for them, and your opponent can just shoot them for free victory points, basically, as you lack the support for them, and they will not help your game plan at all. And that is a very important thing to acknowledge. And this is the same problem the Cold War Knights have. And this is the reason why in the current state, I would not play Cold War Knights and Dark Elves. I'd rather play Executioners or Hydras and the Harpies, and even Shades are better. So there's like a ton of special units that help your army's game plan. And cold ones are never helping the army's game plan. Cold ones have to be the army's game plan. And then you need the core that supports them. And that is the big fucking issue here.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I think them to be able to be like a cheap, like, solo unit that can kind of like threaten archers, or like they want to be like a big razor. Like, they're threatening some medium units, there's chaff, and they're like not doing anything crazy. They're not like frontal charging infantry units.
I mean, if you take them 4 guys and you make them like 30 points, it's 120. And for the light armor, it's 16. Drilled is just 8. You most likely don't do the full command there. You just take the champion into position. Then you're at 158. and that is okay-ish. I remember in 6th edition, 5 cold ones were 145 in Dark Elves, 190 with Command. Command was super expensive, and for 145 they were just like that, a cheap flanking force.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that's a reasonable spot. It'd be interesting to play them that way. At their current spot, they're at a point where I don't even like. I wouldn't even be interested in playtesting because you just kind of know how they're going to go out. They're just just expensive. They're going to shut up. But
even with the Trilled, it's awkward with the 4 guys. Is you need to form a line that will get shot by a single cannon then in the front, so you have to tweak around that. And, yeah. Okay, last units. Pterodon Riders. It's become late here. Pterodon Riders and Ripidactyl Riders. Pterodons were overpriced, absolutely. We already talked about dropping rocks, which is very powerful ability. They have the Skink Riders, so we aim at weapon skill 3 here in combat. That gives them a little bit more combat capability. They get a second attack, and they get armor type 2, and shields. So for 33 points now, you have...
Yeah, so you lost light armor on the guys. So I think are they the same save that they were? So didn't they used to be armor hide 1, and you got the I think they used to be armor hide 1.
So you had a 5
shield.
You have a 5 up armor save, and now you have a 4 up armor save.
I think it was. Oh, okay. Was it? I think it was. I thought it was a 4 previously. But...
Let's see. I don't think so. Pterodons, they had armor type 1 and they had light armor, so it was a 5.
And they did not have shields.
They didn't have shields with the javelins, so it's
okay. So the Ripidactyls were already a 4, but the
so the Pterodons were at 32, and I think we had them down on 28-ish in German comp, maybe. Let's see just the German comp version here, because that one worked barely, to be honest. It didn't work well, it worked barely.
I was playing the Ripidactyls, and they were fun. They felt a little bit clunky. The impetuous thing to play around with Slan. They weren't amazing.
Pterodons were 28, and improving the armor save is worth 2 to 3 points, maybe 31. So we are at 33 now, so it's still too expensive, basically. But they get now Fire and Flee, they get the Skink Riders, and they get an attack more. I think that's reasonable for the points. It's stuffing special rules onto a unit until it's point efficient, because it gets so many special rules. But in my opinion, Pterodons are evasion pieces. They're like flying around, annoying, killing a baggage train, dropping rocks once a game, carrying maybe a caster or a ruby ring on a skink chief on them, maybe the random stuff. They're annoying units, and annoying units need to be cheap, else they get shot.
They did make their range attack a little bit better. They now get die 3 hits on the Fire Leech Bolas. They don't take penalties for firing at long range.
The Fire Leech Bolas are big now. I mean they're really big. The Fire Leech Bolas were in the original version, they were crappy. They have strength only range 6. They have strength 4, but they have no additional hits, move and shoot, and quick shot. So basically, they're
always taking long range.
Yeah, they're throwing weapons, just normal throwing weapons, basically.
Yeah.
Flaming throwing weapons.
So I think they're pretty reasonable to take now.
Yeah, and now we have basically fire bombs.
Yeah, I think they're similar to like gunpowder bombs, or in that kind of space. They don't have AP, just armor main 1, but
which makes sense. Which was also too good on the other things. But I feel like now their role is to use Fire Leech Bolas.
I agree. So they're there to like make your wizard, make that wizard you have hiding behind your unit there, and like go for baggage train. So like a utility piece. I think they're fine.
But the issue is 35 points.
Yeah, you're paying 1 for the shield, 1 for the bola. Yeah.
105 for 6 wounds. 105 for 6 wounds, toughness 3.
Yeah, they are just fragile, and a leadership 5 too.
I mean, they're not more expensive than other cavalry units are, but we already talked about how bad Dark Riders and such are.
Yeah, I think to be fair, these are they're flying units. They cause fears. They don't have to worry about terror check.
Yeah, they have more. They have more attacks. They have 2 attacks.
They have a pretty solid armor, like 4+ armor save.
Yeah,
and even toughness 3 is like pretty reasonable. They are not awful. They can charge War Machine. I think this sort of unit is the one that I'd be head.
Yeah.
Like the cold ones, it's like they have some pretty clear downs. I think you're pretty comfortable. Even if you make them a little bit too cheap, it's like whatever. They're still a special unit. This one, flying, ranged units, you always have to be careful with points on them.
Maybe you can set up a flying circus, or you have Indy to sacrifice one of the Bastiladons in the shooting army, and therefore take some of the Pterodons. And if you don't have the points for the Pterodons, then you can still take the Chameleons. So I think it's okay. I don't see them now as a unit that really helps your build, but I see them as a unit that helps you to tech for specific tournaments, for specific comp, or if there is like a special mission where you want to have them, so that can help. If you run into baggage trains,
I
take
think
these
they're
guys.
fine. They're like big harpies, right? They're a little bit more durable. They're twice the cost, but they have range attack.
What you could also do
melee.
there is, like, if you have issues with Beastmen, play 3 of those guys with a Sky Leader and the Obsidian Lodestone and fly them straight up to the Hearthstone.
Yeah, that too.
Can be quite annoying. Okay, Riperdactyls. These are the big ones. These are our new Pegasus Knights. We have 40 points. We have weapon skill 4 on Skink Riders, so the whole unit has basically to be hit. Weapon skill 4. The Riperdactyl has fucking 3 attacks and Predatory Fighter.
And has Wicked Claws.
And Wicked Claws. This means
they used to just have hand
if you
weapons.
get 4 of these guys in combat, that's 12 attacks. If we get a Troglodyte in, out of 12 on average, we will have 4 additional attacks, which will then most likely do 2 more hits. So we have 8-ish hits, I guess, normally hitting on a 4.
Code Rage also gives you extra attacks and hatred instead of just reroll one thing.
Oh, you reroll everything because you've Toad Rage.
Yeah.
And extra attacks. So
Yes.
this means
Another up to 4 attacks per model with hatred at weapon skill 4, strength 4, AP 2, cleaving blow.
so 4 attacks means we hit on average on 0.75, right? With hatred.
Yeah. Correct.
And we do get, on the first roll, we get 4 times 3 extra attacks. This means we re-roll then the non-hitting stuff, we roll half of them, 2.
Oh, yeah,
and we add
this is even better with Predatory Fighter.
2/3. So we get 1.5 extra attacks. 1.5 extra attacks. So we have 6.5 attacks, which hit on 75%. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is quite a lot on a single
That's
level.
a lot.
That is
They also got counter
4.5.
charge.
Yeah, that's 4.5 hits on one of these guys. Strength 4, AP 2. And if we add now the Totem of Wrath into that,
Can they take a 50? They can't take a. Oh, you could take a
BSB,
Magic.
you can take a BSB there.
Yeah,
if
the
you-
champ can also take 25 points of magic items too.
Yeah, Obsidian Lodestone, Jump Shield. So if we add that, I mean, even against what do they fight against? What shall they fight against? Let's say they fight against Toughness 4, 3 bomber save.
Sure.
That is not unreasonable,
Yeah,
I guess.
so they're fighting like Thunderers, right?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. Thunderers have only weapon skill 3. Let's assume they fight against something with weapon skill 4 even. So they hit on
Sure,
4s.
warriors. Sure, they charge from Dwarf Warriors.
So, and let's say we get 4 or 5 of them into it. Yeah. So let's assume just the 4, maybe 1 dice. You never
I think
get
four
the full.
is reasonable.
4 is reasonable. So 4
Just
of
for
the
the
mounts, including the BSB there. Just calculating the mounts there. That is okay. So we have 20 hits. We have 20 hits of that. And then we get around 11.5, something like that. What is it?
Yeah.
It's 11.5. 11.5 wounds, AP fucking 3.
Yeah, and some of those are cleaving blows, which means no armor.
They
No
still
regen.
have it? Didn't they? Oh, they still
have
have.
they still have
holy
cleaving
shit!
blow.
Holy shit! Holy shit! So a few of them go straight through the armor, and that means
a quarter of those are cleaving blows. So you're
Yeah,
gonna, if you're having 11.5, you're gonna have like 3.
I mean, even if you assume, in addition,
Winning on 4.
a 5 and ward save on that unit, we still kill 6.4.
That's pretty good.
That's damn good.
The other thing you could do on them instead of taking Totem of Wrath is take the Sun Standard unit,
Yeah, true.
because much like Bretonia, the cannot stand and shoot is actually incredibly powerful.
Yes. I mean, this will then you then have to rely a bit more on the cleaving blow.
Yeah. And
But-
they are still still impetuous. You're up to leadership 6 on the Skate Chief.
Yeah.
But
And interesting enough, if you play like this, you want to have like 1 Troglodon I guess. You want to have
Probably.
2 units of Ripperductiles, and you want to have like 1 small unit of Cold Ones just to be a marching column to annoy people and to cage them, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that could
I
be...
think it would be interesting to play with like a double Carnosaur build for sure. Just like a high pressure list.
Yeah. So you would take then Carno for 379, another Carno for around the same, 364, I think the other build. The BSB is 198. I think even 15 points more if you take the banners. It's 213. That's pretty costly. That is already 956. That is okay. You take 1 Troglodon, and you have sadly again the issue with the skinks. But in this case, you need the skinks because you will use the skink cohorts this time in marching column to cage your opponent, and you will use the skink skirmishers in lines to prevent line of sight to the guys in the first turn. So we take again a skink chef for 500, and then the Ripperductiles, they are like 211 baseline. I do think you want to have at least a lodestone there, so it's 231 there. Pretty expensive. We cannot get in another big unit of Ripperductiles, as we cannot do with Pegasus. So we either take 3 Ripperductiles, or we take indeed the cheap one here, the 4 Cold War Knights. They just fit in. 4 Cold War Knights we can play there in this list. So we have 2 Carnosaurs, we have the BSB, we have 5 Ripperductiles, we have a Troglodon, and maybe we have another unit. Maybe another Troglodon, maybe some other stuff there.
Yeah, it's actually pretty crazy that the skink cohort can march in column 18 inches. Like,
exactly. And after that, they turn. After that, they just turn, yeah? And then you can you can play 2 big units. You can play 2 units of 25 or something like that.
Yeah, or 26, so you can go 5x5+1.
Yeah, true. That's nice.
Yeah, that is interesting. I don't know how well it would execute. I mean, I think it's just going to struggle into like the really strong list, but I think that has some interesting potential for board control. The biggest downside of this, of course, is we're not running. I guess you have a wizard on the that's where that comes from.
You have the Troglodon, yeah? You have the Troglodon.
Yeah. That's for level 1. That's what you got.
So you have the Troglodon, and for the Troglodon you buy Shield of the Warrior. No, not Shield of the Warrior. True, you buy Talisman Protection just. So that's your 170 there. Let's just recalculate it. I mean, you can also play 2 Troglodons. Most likely just 2 naked Troglodons are better.
Yeah, maybe.
I love the 2 Troglodons in these lists, which resolve around the how's it called? Around the predatory fighters. So that list doesn't look too bad. I don't know. It's not a very high competitive list, as it's a combat list where you rely on Ripperductiles and monsters on foot. Let's be honest here, yeah. But for having fun, it's a great list. It's not bad.
No, I think that would be interesting to play. That's the most interesting list I think we've seen so far. It's like that would be interesting. It's got a lot of play to it. You have some like flexibility in how you approach things.
Yeah.
It's mobile, but like it's got a lot of fragile pieces. You have to play it carefully. Kind of coordinate units and things like that. Yeah.
And once again, what you can see here is the Cold Ones Fallout. The Cold Ones have no spot in this army, which should basically be one army that rocks the Cold Ones. And they're too expensive to see play. They could be the support unit here for the Ripperductiles, but I think you'd rather take a second Troglodon because it fits better to the army style. And that's the issue, they're too expensive.
Yeah, I mean that is really a lot of this comes to like. I would like to run some kind of synergy like this, but I run out of units very quickly.
Yeah, but I think Ripperductiles are right now the most interesting thing here. It could be.
I agree.
It could be that they're just super bad.
I think I mean they're still extremely fragile.
They have toughness 3, 4-up armor save only.
You're gonna have a bad time into Nolan.
Yeah, and right? they have impetus with leadership.
And impetuous. And if you're not running a slant, you're at best leadership 8. off the general.
Yeah.
Like,
If you are in the
highest I
general,
guess.
if you're not in the general because you fly and
Right.
you want maybe to go around, you have 6. So
Yeah,
that is
yeah. I mean,
the
you
downside.
probably have an 18 on the old one, but still.
What I saw also is that in this list you want to play 2 units of Ripidactyls, maybe a cheap Ripidactyl unit just of 3 instead of the second Troxodon, just to have a second unit market with the Toad Rage marker. Because the Toad Rage marker is not specific to that unit, so you can mark 2 units and then you can go in.
Oh yeah, 'cause if the Toad Rage marker isn't unique to that unit, right? You put is it for each Ripidactyl unit, a single block can only be placed on an enemy unit in the battlefield or a major. So it doesn't matter. The more Ripidactyl, in fact, you just need to run enough Ripidactyl units to just mark like 3 or 4 enemy units, and then everyone's got block. There's blocks all over the place. Wherever you go in, you got hate.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to play multiple Ripidactyl units and apply Flying Circus there.
Yeah.
That could be also another option. The only issue is with the Flying Circus is you need somehow a good leadership, and then you are at it again with the expensive Slan, sadly, because else if you are not so reliant, if you could somehow you cannot give a fly cavalry mount to Saurus, right? That's not possible.
No, they can only take
the feather cloak is. What is a feather cloak? It's skinks only.
It's skink only.
And the other thing, the carpet, is only for regular infantry.
It's you could take it out. It's just infantry only.
No, it's regular.
No,
infantry.
it is regular. You can't take it.
No Doomball.
No, I remember. Yeah, people were. I remember how many conversations I've had in the people excited and like some Reddit threads. Like I was thinking about this. I was like, sorry,
so
but
if we could have a Saurus with a cloak of feathers or fly somehow, or with a Ripidactyl or something like that, then we would have a proper Flying Circus.
You know what I'd like to see come back from an older edition is the Jaguar, which lets you give a character movement.
True.
Just as like an enchanted item. That was fun. And I think that was a really neat way to run Saurus. Maybe the number would be too high, movement 8 something like that, but then you'd figure out the point. It was very last edition, in 6th edition. But that would be a fun way to have like more mobile Saurus characters without having them to on, because I think the for them Cold One or Carnosaur, they don't have anything else.
Yeah.
So
just reading comments about the Ripidactyls where people say they're super brittle, nothing has changed in that regard, so they are not as hyped, but I think the Sun Banner maybe does it now.
Yeah, I think I was running 1 unit Ripidactyls with the German comp version, so they were impetuous, weapon skill 3 on the riders was basically the big difference. They didn't have AP on their attacks, so they're worse than this. They were cheaper per model though, I think.
They can't drop rocks, no? They can't drop rocks.
No, they can't drop rocks. They didn't have Predatory Fighter, but they had Furious Charge. They were fun. They weren't amazing, but they kind of did the Cavalry Hunter role. They were pretty good at bullying chaff units and things like that. They weren't good in every matchup, but I think when I played you, they got into the Anvil of Doom, and that was just like tying it up. And
yeah, they were not that bad against me. They distracted me good enough, and they were not a threat, so you could get in with the other guy.
Right. I think building around them as like something to frontal, like an actual cavalry bus with like a heavy charge, I think that's hard to do. I think I'd rather have them be a little bit lower impact and fewer points, because it's hard for them to hit the break point where they can fight an infantry unit reliably.
They have to work different. They're more like still a second unit, to support the Carnosaurs or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. There's something that can like chase down chaff, or maybe you punch something in the side or whatever. Or,
what I'm checking right now is that the mounts, a priest cannot be mounted on a Pterodon, That would be super big to have a priest on a Pterodon with that unit. Level 2, Law Familiar, Lord Safe. Sadly not possible. Skink Chief on a Pterodon, can he bring anything to the unit? I mean, the BSB can already take the 40 points item, the magic defense item. I think that is sensible on him. What else do we have on good items which can support that build?
It's tough. There's not a lot of really exciting things for.
No, it's basically it's MR2 or the shield. That's what you take there.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, all right. I think
more standard, but you don't have a ban.
You don't have a ban on them, no.
there's
Which is
no
not that bad as you as you want to make sure that your character also lines up. It's okay.
Cube of Darkness would be bad in this build, actually. Just the automatic dispel and remains in play. Like, just put that on the
yes,
on a cheap priest or whatever. I think just for the more automatic defense is not.
But the issue is again character points. The issue is character points. I also thought of the arc lightning rod. Arc lightning rod could be super important for a lot of these lists.
You can never roll 3 dice. It's pretty good.
Yeah. So maybe you rather take that over anything else. But in the lists, yeah, maybe indeed you play on the.
You could pick Cube of Darkness on the Troglodon if you wanted.
Yeah, sure. Leadership 8. That's pretty good. You can put it on the Troglodon.
Reasonable for 3 dice. I mean, that's as good as you're going to get if you're not running it.
Yeah. So you have to sacrifice ancients, suck it on down. But yeah, there's a lot of tools you can bring in where you have to meet choices. And I think to make the army really good, you need to have these things in the list without making sacrifices.
I agree. One of the things we were talking about that I think could really tie the room together, so to speak, is some access with level 3 Skink Caster, Skink Oracle, or Skink High Priest, or whatever you want to call it. If you could take one per army that could take just a level 3 wizard, like how an outcast wizard level character, 50 or 75 points of magic, it would let you play the list without a slan and just kind of have that cheap utility caster.
The 75 points would just be very big to have a ruby ring and an arc lightning rod or something like that, or like a defensive item and a spell-eater X. The shield and a spell-eater X, for example, is 75. So I think if you'd had... And we wrote something like that, right? We wrote something like that into the list. This was also a thing a lot of people asked for, like level 3 wizards and medium-sized skink heroes, not just the small heroes. We had, let me check, we had a red-crested war chief there, which is basically a skink lord for 65 points, which can have 75 points on magic items. And you could add this guy into the Ribberdactyl unit, and then suddenly it becomes a thing. And like mini Bretonia, or I don't know if it's too healthy, but it's an option. And also the Skink Priest, we had the Skink High Priest for 110 points with 75 magic items. Basically, what Well did there now with the Troglodon, that role would have been taken up by this guy.
Yes.
And of course, we added high magic there for the train magic. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
okay,
so I think it's an interesting start. I think it could use some play testing. Just kind of an overall overview.
Yeah.
I think the pointers just still feel high on a lot of things, other than on skink units at least. I think a lot of some of the ideas are really good. I think we could tweak a lot of the stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, we put now a lot of time into this, and we discovered a lot of things that obviously wanted to design and wanted to have, which maybe weren't clear at the very beginning. Some interactions you had there. I still think if you want to make some of the stuff work like it is supposed to work, like the Soros heroes, they need either more wounds or need point reductions, or they need some perk for being on foot or on cavalry. The cavalry is a bit bloated. They have tons of special rules, but they need to be cheaper to see play. The monsoon is maybe too much. I don't know.
I think that's the biggest one. I think, maybe drop the cost by 1, and I think picking direction is just so hard to balance.
Maybe it's part of the package why you play the slan. And to be honest, we didn't really cared about the Skink Priest. We don't have a use for the Skink Priests anymore, except for Arcane Vessel. So maybe using that on a Skink Priest is big again. It's a bit one-dimensional.
If you can't span them, it's fine. I think the only thing that I think really does need to go is the picking the direction.
Yeah,
it's just tough. So tough to balance.
But maybe it's a tool. Maybe it's a tool. I don't know. I would first test the overall power levels of the army, because I don't think it's
the context is relevant, right? Again, You're paying a lot for the slan. The slan's the only one that can cast.
we have a super broken banner, we have a super broken spell, but if you throw that on rubbish pointed troops, it's still fair.
Right, you still end up spending 1,000 points on a unit that like doesn't really move around, doesn't really shoot, just kind of like, yeah. So it's interesting if like makes it like stuff that's too good, but like is it too good in
Warriors.
Is it too good in context?
We'll see.
Yeah, I think it could definitely use some playtesting.
What annoys me a bit is that both Saurus Warriors and Temple Guard have unit size 10 plus.
Yeah, that's true.
I think with drilled and unit size 5 plus, maybe you could do some shenanigans there. For 65 points, you could take it as an alternative to a skink unit, a small skink unit, and you can't use it to cage, to hunt baggage trains. So that would be a thing. Same as unit strength of the Croxigors of 1 plus. Basically allowing more units to play a role, more units to take part in the game.
Yeah, I think that's more than anything else what they need is just to be able to have more moving pieces that feel impactful.
Yeah.
They're just feeling a little short on that right now. I think we're getting there, but yeah.
Yeah, and overall to make the slant playable, you need, and if you want to keep the powerful monsoon, if you want to keep the powerful disciplines, I think that is not that bad. I would have to test him. I don't think he's worth 500 points.
I think he's just too. I think the base cost.
Yeah.
My
250.
Lukewarm take on the Slan is that I mean think about what is he like compared him to like a level 4 wizard for another army, right? Like what are you normally paying? So he's not that tough. He's got 5 wound, but he's strength 3, 4 weapon skill 2, right? He's fly 8, but he's not like anything in the army is good with the fly 8 because he's infantry. You don't have any other, he can hang around with the skinks, but like, so he's got some utility to him, but like, and he's comes with a 5+ war save, right? But how many points would you pay to have like, you're paying, what are you paying for like an empire with that or a
I got like a super good message here from Haidt from West Coast California. He sent also to Well a long feedback, and he wrote the Slan is overcosted. I think he's still at 250, a little too much. Being unable, and this is what you just said, being unable to strip him for parts, have to take the ward, have to take the fly, have to take the level 4, leaves Lizardmen players with a big investment that they have to protect. And that is the issue. You cannot tailor him for the actual role, right? You need to take the full package.
I 100% agree, because the ward is something you could definitely do without. And normally when you're getting a package deal like that, you're getting a discount. But the Slan doesn't feel like you're getting a discount at all. It feels like you're paying for every part of the Slan and not using all of it. So you end up with this expensive model. It's like almost like a special character in that sense, and then you tack more onto them as well.
And we talked about bringing the Acolyte and Rogue in without being attacked or without cutting stuff. So I think just 40 points less or 50 points left on the Slan, 235 naked.
Yeah, I think if you started him at 235, it would also just feel like he had more points for disciplines. I do think you could bring down some of the discipline clause. Now the 65.1 should stay 65 points. That's very powerful. But some of the other ones could drop 5, 10 points.
All right. I think we're getting it together here. It's not that much points we want to change, right? I think if I could go through everything, I love the blessed spawnings. I think you need them to make Saurus Warriors interesting.
Yeah. I agree.
But if I have to do one quick fix for everything, one very quick fix for everything, let's start at the magic items. Zunki, ignore regeneration. Scimitar, drop points to like 35. Staff of the Lost Sun, give AP1 and quick shot. Piranha Blade, armor bane 2. The shield is fine. The height of the cold ones, cut the stupidity. Cliff necklace is fine. Aura of Gretel is fine. Sun Standard of Jotek, I think it's fine. Let's first test it.
I think it's too good, and other stuff is too bad. I think it's a whole separate conversation. So let's just keep going.
Yeah. The other stuff is fine as well. For the banners, enchanted items, give the fucking Venom of the Firefall Fog flaming attacks.
Yeah, I think Jaguar Standard I would drop to 20 points.
Maybe. Yeah, Jaguar Standard 20 points is okay as well. Yeah, then it's display. I agree. Cupboard Hands of the Old Ones is just a 20-point item, maybe, if at all. It has another. You have the Earthing Rod and you have the Soul Stone thingy. Not sure.
I'd probably pay 25 for it because it's
maybe.
Yeah. You're ignoring a miscast and you're giving somebody else a
True,
bad
true.
miscast.
Itchy Crab,
That's pretty good. Maybe 25, 30 points. But yeah,
Itchy Crab is super powerful, but we saw already that Skink Priests are less of a use right now, except for the Monsoon spam. And I mean, yes, you could use on each character Itchy Crab to spam like 6 Monsoons out. Okay, Cube of Darkness is not so bad. It's the Clockwork Compass, which sees big play. You can use this on a Troglodon as well. That's pretty big.
Is people realizing how good that is?
Yeah, it's a really good item. We just went over it, but Kathai plays it now, I think, in most of the lists. The Beastmen play it for 35 without the remains in play spells. But if you play the aggressive list with the Carnosaurs and not lots of magic defense, take one of these. Just take one of these on the Troglodon. Okay, then we have to focus rumination. It's good. I think it could stay. The higher state of mind should be 40 points. We talked about this separately. Focus of mystery.
I don't know this needs to exist, to be honest.
If we change apotheosis, then it's okay.
Sure, but I think in general,
It's a lore familiar, but also you can take lore of Lustria, right? But it's 45. I just don't know that this is that, like, it's not really doing anything that exciting for me. I think this could be changed to something more interesting, personally. It's just not giving you, it's not that exciting, or that, like, doesn't define this land that well. It's not that different from a lore familiar, and you already.
Yeah, I mean, it revolves again around Monsoon. So if I have to change one thing there, I would put it at 30 points.
Yeah, I agree.
Random Iterations is fine, it's cool. Transcendent Healing is fine, Cogitation is fine, all these other things are fine, honestly. The Soul of Stone, you can discuss it, but it's also fine. It's
Yeah, I agree.
It's okay. Apotheosis needs to heal other monsters, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
Monsoon, we talked about it. Remove the may move 6d6 by choosing, then it's fine. If you have it put, it's a signature that's still extremely powerful, but context is king. I think it's okay. Maybe it's even okay with the moving. I'd give it playtesting, to be honest. I'd accept it for playtesting.
I agree.
The Slum Mage Priest, we talked about it. Just put it to 235. Maybe allow him to go into the fighting rank when within a unit. Maybe give him firing platform. Maybe give him large target, or give him some option to tweak around these things. Sauros heroes, either give him sacred spawnings or give him a wound.
Yeah, simple stop.
Skink heroes, we want the intermediate skink heroes, the big skink heroes, we want them badly. They can stay at leadership 6. We want the 75 points magic items, maybe a level 3 dispeller. But overall, they're solid, they're skinks, whatever. Skink cohorts drop the points of Kroxigors to 40 maximum. You could theoretically make them more expensive when they are in the cohort as a special tax or something like that, but I just feel they're too expensive. The rest of the unit is fine, and be ready.
I might make them a point per model for short bows.
Yeah. Maybe make the short bows plus 1 point, and be ready that we just see lines of archers here.
Yeah, which is why I think short bows are just really good. That's all it is.
Yeah. Skirmishers are fine. I accept the 6 points. I think
it's a good pinch.
I think it's good for the unit. It's not good for the context, as we have everything else overpriced, so we need some units to be very cheap to get a lot of stuff in the list. The big issue is that the stuff we want to bring into the list isn't special and rare, so having expensive core units does not change much, except that it absolutely kills the Sauros and the Temple Guard, but I will come back to that later. Cavalry Kings are fine. Maybe they could still see a point drop of 1 point, so you can get them in the list better. Sauros Warriors are horrible. Either giving you something 5 up and drill for shenanigans, or make them a solid fighting force, drop them to 11 points and allow some synergies there. Temple Guard the same, needs to drop by 1 or 2 points. We saw the list, it's horribly expensive. You cannot take the toys. I mean, I do understand the Sun Banner and stuff like that as tools to give Lizardmen the strength they really need. But if you make the units so expensive that they cannot buy these things, it doesn't make sense. It has to be cheaper.
I would rather make the utility and the defensive options a little bit less powerful, but make the units that you're putting them on more cost-effective. So it feels like an upgrade to a good unit rather than something to make a decent unit. It kind of feels like you're throwing a good item on a mediocre unit.
Yeah, I do
An
agree.
okay
But
combination.
I mean, even if you have the very good item, and I love that because you can promote one of your units. You can either promote one unit of Temple Guard or you can promote one unit of Ripper-Dactyls, and it allows you to tweak your playstyle more like this. Yeah, it allows you to tweak more your playstyle. So I like the very good banner, but still the units have to be better priced. They're still too bad. Croxigores, we talked about it. Make them Dragon Ogres, make them drop points, make them unit strength 1-up. I know a lot of people hate that. A lot of people hate spam or something like that, but I think they need it. They need it.
You can still only run 3 like solo guys, and they're not, honestly, they're not that. They're still 3 attacks with a great weapon, but weapon skill 3. They're fine at 40 points. They're still not that exciting, honestly.
Yeah. Jungle Swarms are fine, I guess. They're nothing special.
I don't have any particular thoughts on them because they're an unbreakable unit swarm balance. So I think they're fine as this.
Salamander packs, we think they're fine.
I don't know if they need reserve move.
True, but the AP2 is maybe too big. For me, the AP2 is
AP1 and reserve move. I'd probably drop on.
Yeah.
And just kind of see what that looks like. The extra defense and the full plate is a deal. And they can already march and shoot, so I feel like the reserve move is really not needed.
Yeah, but on the other hand, we haven't talked about them in any of the builds we talked about, so they can't be too good. Maybe they're slept on, I don't know.
The other thing compared to German con that we mentioned is that the monster handler rules let's use the general's leadership, and they felt pretty strong, they cannot, and that's a huge difference.
True. And now here they can, no? In this iteration they can.
Exactly.
That is really big, yeah. And they fit
to
standards.
And we talked about the extended formations. They can stay within 2 inches of each other.
Dispersed formation, right. This is the fix. Yeah. Dispersed formation for them, please. For the Razor packs, and remove the skin handlers from the rule, right? Like make them just counters.
Yeah, that's just tidying up.
Razor Dawn, drop them to 65, dispersed formation, and it's okay.
Yeah, I think, personally, I like the balance better of strength 4, roll to hit, and also can't stand and shoot. Like the automatic hit, stand and shoot is.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a weird mix, but I think having them be cheaper.
Yeah.
And with a little bit less
they're
reliable.
like a spiky deterrent. I think I can live with that. I don't think it's terrible.
They hit pretty often as strength 4 anyway. I mean they're pretty reasonable.
For 75,
yes. There are so few units in the game that don't roll to hit. It's really just it's only the Deeds More Nails, right? And that's just Grave Shot and a couple of things that can do it that aren't cannons. Very rare. I don't think we need more of it. I think a lot of the game is balanced around that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yes, like we wrote them, it was this way, and I agree that I like that more as well. But I mean, I don't know if Well didn't consider it or if he just had the idea and preferred this one. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, we'll see. Cold One Riders, drop points by a ton.
Yeah.
If it is for me, dropping by 6. A lot of people would say dropping by 2. Let's meet in the middle, dropping by 4.
I think 30 would be a good place to test and see how they feel.
Yeah, but this they're way too expensive. Pterodons are an interesting unit, which is less interesting than Ripper-Dactyls. And I think you want to have them to be annoying, and to be annoying they have to be cheap. I do like the dive bomb ability to be AP1, to have an actual impact on the game, to have them be a ranged unit with a Fire Leech Bolas. They're just still so fragile.
They are there. I can see them being 30 points a model maybe, but
yeah.
Again, it's flying range skirmishers are just it's hard to know what the right price point is on them. I don't hate them erring on the side of caution.
No, everything is reasonable. Maybe put the Pterodons to 1 attack back. Make them ranged only. Give them 1 attack only, and therefore give them a discount down to 28. This is what we done in German comp. They were still not played. Now with the Fire Leech Bola buff, where you have to invest points, with the shields where you have to invest points, they could become reasonable, but they need cheaper chassis. So put them to 28, give them 1 attack, and they're fine. Ripper-Dactyls, honestly, let's test it. I'm open for that.
I think this is a really interesting look at Ripper-Dactyl. I would like to try this.
Yeah. People should always remember their toughness 3. They're only 4 up. They don't have a ward save on the unit. They don't have lances.
Blast Cannon melee unit is,
Yeah.
It's hard to use. It's hard to
I can't wait. I can't wait to see armies that play 3x5 Ripidactyls. That will be interesting.
You get a toad. You get a toad.
Exactly. Or 2x3 and 1x5, something like that. So like the classic.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. Carnosaur. Yeah, it's okay.
I think this is a fine change. I admit I'm still a little bit wary on the multiple D3 against everything, but again, like it's in the context is relevant here, right?
Yeah. Maybe even give him. I think weapon skill 5 would be reasonable as well, but
I don't disagree. Again, he's still 4 attacks is just low for this type of model.
Yeah, I mean he's as good as a Ripidactyl, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Okay, Stegodons, fine change, very fine change.
Yeah, I agree. I think the only thing we were talking about is the weapons on them could be a little bit like
True,
they just don't hit often enough. They need quick fire.
Yeah, quick shot on them. Cut the move and shoot on the giant bow. Potent of warding. Maybe give them. I think I wrote down all the configurations there were in the different editions.
I think. I mean, even if it was just a 6+ ward save, I kind of like the German comp version where it's a 5+ ward against shooting only. It just felt more easier to balance.
So in the 7th edition, it was like this: 5 up ward save from any range attack that originate from more than 12 inches from the engine. 8th edition engine was all units within 6 inches have a 6 up flat. So I think that was the inspiration here to do it like in the 8th edition. I feel that Well uses a lot more 8th edition vibes, while I play more into the 6th and 7th edition vibes with the units. I would have done it in the same for the Beam of Jotech, like small version and big version. You can cast small version and you can cast a big version of it, and yeah, that's it. And for the arcane,
I would make it not remains in play. Yeah, just one turn.
Arcane configuration, we have talked a lot about it. People are still talking about it, as I see in the various Discord chats. If it is good like this, if not, if it still should buff the Slan. The issue I have is, with how it's worded here, it's a nerf to the unit itself, and it's only good to buff Bastiladons. So
it's good in one build. If you're going to take this, you want to take 3 Bastiladons to really optimize it.
Exactly.
And that's just not that exciting. That's one of the least.
And helping wizards helps. Troglodons, Skinks, and Slants. It helps more supports.
Yeah, I think small level 1 wizards getting little buffs is very fun, and the 6-inch range also made it so you couldn't really you had to really play around it. It made it more like a build around piece. I was running with a Slan and 2 level 1s, just casting 1 spell each. Fun. It wasn't too crazy, but it kind of made the Slan tick, and it was an interesting unit, but a fragile one.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind having a Slan with +4 to cast, with both of it.
No, it wouldn't even have to. You could figure it out so it's like each user can only use it once per turn or something like that.
You could also do both wizard and bounce spell. It would still not be OP.
Yeah, I agree.
It would still be okay.
It's so many points to do both. It's not like you can reasonably.
No.
Really effectively anyway. So
Bastiladon, please give us a good Arc of Zotek, and more important, please give us a good Spawn of Zotek. Please let us have a buff for making Saurus Warriors good, to use the Impervious defense, to have an actual chariot. This is a chariot, basically. Let us please have a chariot that really supports our infantry, and please do not put it into the infantry unit, but make it walk besides it. That would be my wish list for the Bastiladon. Beam of Jotek is okay. I like the Thunderous Bludgeoning. I would only make it with 1 attack.
I think, especially with the +3 strength, AP -3, I think it's a little bit more than it needs to be for the model.
Yeah. What did we have on the Bastiladons? We had also 140
We had it
points.
so it was 1 attack, but it was Monster Slayer Killing Blow instead of D3 wounds.
Yeah.
I think I like the D3 wounds better personally than Monster Slayer Killing Blow.
I do agree.
But I think 1 attack. It's still scary, but ultimately it is like a ranged or support piece.
Yeah.
And having it have some punch in melee is.
And we gave it an additional attack. We gave it an additional attack with it. So it's 3 attacks baseline and then one of that.
Yeah. I think that would be fine.
And we gave it Scaled Carapace. We gave Scaled Carapace reducing the damage by cannons for both this one and
that's interesting. I don't know that that's really necessary, but I think it's an interesting thing to test.
Yeah. We don't see this in the list at all. So we don't have... We see 1 more wound on the Stegodon. And that's it in terms of resilience against cannons, and that is not much.
Yeah, and a better save on the ancient.
Yeah.
Your minor against
Troglodon might be a bit too good. Every single list I wrote has Troglodons today, I think.
I think you're more Troglodon pelt than I am. But it is, I mean, Armored Hide 3 is nice. Like,
you also don't love the Jabberslide, right? So
that's true. Yeah, I'm not about the Jabberslide life, and you've tried to persuade me for over a year now. So
I love medium-sized, like toughness 5 wounds monsters that are fast and that are somewhat cheap. I love them. They can do so many things. I want to love them.
I'm trying. They make it so hard.
I agree.
But it's a neat piece. I think I'd be like is trying it as it is.
Strength 4 shooting just kills them, right? Like one brick of thunder and they're gone. Okay.
That is always the problem.
But I don't know. I wouldn't change anything at them. I think they're a solid piece.
I would test them as it is. If they need a change, maybe a slight cost increase. But
I don't think. Let's not force this already. The Hydra in the Dark Eyes was fine for 155. People were shocked. People cried out. Now it's 165 and flammable. Honestly, 155 flammable would be cool. I think the Troglodon is similar. Maybe just do the movement back to 7. Keep it at 140 and it's fine. Maybe even the 5-up armor save, but I like the 4-up armor save. I think it's fine as well. What I do not understand is why a Troglodon gets Armored Hide as a wizard that cannot buy armor, but a Bastiladon has an armor value set. So I'm not sure.
It could just have a 4+. It doesn't really
I would like some consistency here, please. But it's also a little bit nitpicky. And that's it. That's my list. How I would change the Lizardmen. Of course, add stuff for the Saurus Warriors. This is my biggest issue, and I think the list is smaller than I thought at the very beginning. I'm always a little bit grumpy. I'm grumbling about everything. I don't like necessarily things that are worded like a bit complicated, or they are like, you know what I mean. But I think there is more depth in this take here than I thought in the beginning, and I like that. Props to well done. Any last words of yours?
No, that was all. It was interesting to read through. I would change my opinion on a few things. I think it's an interesting list. There's a lot of stuff in here that I'll be interested to test out.
Yeah.
See, like, adapt stuff for German comp, try on its own. I do agree. So some of the spice, the sacred spawning would definitely help out a lot with this. But I think it's a good first draft for a new rule set. It's got a lot of light changes that I do like.
We can go very fast through the German comp files there. Like what we have currently in the beta for the Lizardmen there. It's a lot. It's just a lot. For example, Apotheosis has to stay, can target monster units, Palanquin, you can go and cast Assailments, cannot be retired. Okay, this is already in, so we can delete this. Skink Chiefs, Saurus and Gems may buy magical armor, even wearing no mundane armor. They have now the option to do so. The Saurus Warrior Champion cannot. The Saurus Warrior Champion has no access to light armor, so he cannot buy a magic armor, while the Temple Guard Champion can. That's a bit weird, but I think it's also irrelevant. There are just not that many good armors, except for the Trailblazer armor, which could potentially allow a unit to scout if the champion can buy it. That's not... Rules is written very clear. That would be very fun for the Saurus Warriors, to scout them in front of your opponent, but they cannot do it as they cannot buy magic armor. Okay. I think I will still delete it. It's not needed. Blessed Spawnings are too much fun to pass on. Sorry, guys. I think I will keep this. Same as Saurus Warriors to 11 and Temple Guard to 13. 13 on Temple Guard is very cheap, but I feel they need it to be relevant. Then you don't need the point adjustments on the Slun. Or we took the Slun to 235 and put the Temple Guard to 14. Points in Croxy goes 40 is fine. Unit size 1+ as well. That was what I suggested again. Coldrun Riders, counter charge. They have counter charge. Make them now cheaper, or give it first charge. There is no first charge on anything, and a lot of people said we need first charge. So either go with first charge on the Stegadon and the Bastiladon, as they are the chariots of the list, or on the Coldrun Riders. Then the Coldrun Riders actually make sense as a supporting unit. Without, they don't. Pterodons to 30, I have it here. With all the buffs, yeah, that thing can work. Ribodactyls were 32. How much are they here in the book?
Ripper Datchels are 40.
But only with equipment, right? Without equipment, they are like...
Oh, no, I mean, in the...
horrible. That is so... yeah.
No,
Yeah,
they're just 40 base.
Yeah, but they got a lot of buffs. Let's test them. As we said, just let's test them the way they are.
Yeah, they do a lot more damage than they do in the base book or in the German comp. The AP2 hand weapons or attacks is really, really strong.
We had the Troglodon at 160, allowing 50 points of items, so less movement, 20 points more, worse armor save. But I think, honestly, the Troglodon is the right call for power. You need to do this step to make the Lizardmen viable at all. That's okay. So then, yeah, impact hits on a Stegodon, we have it. We have the Portent of Warding in. Maybe it's not good enough, the Portent of Warding, if it's only for bounce spells. If the engine benefits all wizards and bounce spells, then the Portent of Warding is okay. Set points in Bastillodon. Yeah, exactly. The Arc of Zotek, Spawn of Zotek, that should be better. Solar Radiance would be also cool if it gives movement instead of initiative buff. That would be pretty big. We didn't talk about this, but this makes the units way better, of course. Stegodons and Bastillodons have Stone Skeleton, -1 damage from multi-wound special rule to a minimum of 1. I still think that is a rule that should be thought of for Lizardmen. And yeah, for the Razordon we have talked it through, and the Tilleries as well. Alright, so my wish list changes a bit, but stays more or less similar. A few units I'm super open to try. I like some changes to the units. Some other key things like bad Saurus warriors, like the weakness to cannon shooting, the big weakness to cannon shooting, they were not addressed. I mean, it's somewhat thematically that dinosaurs and dinosaurs from Stone Age jungle are a bit vulnerable to cannons, but I don't like these hard matchups, you know, where you are preset to lose against a certain type of army.
Yeah, I agree. I think having options is somewhere in the army build to build to counter or at least play decently into a particular style of play. But really something as common as just like heavy shooting with cannons.
Yeah.
It would be a nice option to have.
Okay, that's it. That was our little TED talk here about Lizardmen. I had fun, and I need to go to sleep now. It's 3 a.m.
All right, go to bed.
Yeah.
Right. Nice hangout with everybody.
See you soon on the next tournament or on the next talk about whatever. See you guys. I don't think a single person made it through the whole video, but yeah, I hope you liked it. I hope you could take some part, some inspiration from it, and either for your armor list or for your talks and discussions about the Lizardmen. Let us know what you think, either in the comments or on the servers, and yeah, I will participate in all these discussions happily. Until then, see you guys. Bye bye and good night.